But you got a flag down.
Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
You're listening to Oofsides on Track and Turf Media.
Talk about playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were.
Who's gonna win it all?
Football.
And who is Dunyan Rings?
You play to win the game.
Live from the Dieter Brock studio.
Don't let these tears fool you. There's all a dog around this mug.
Here's the crew that's bringing it all to you.
Welcome to Oofsides. I'm here.
Right.
I'm Matthew. I'm always. Oh, I've already fucked it up. As always, we got Dewey.
Hey,
We've got the podcast host formerly known as.
football.
Yep,
Gets me
formerly
every
known
time.
as football, still known as football.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to be football, but I still am football.
I need to. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but I need to replace your name with like a symbol. But it needs like, because how Prince's was kind of like a mixture of like the male and female symbol. It needs to be like that, but instead of the circle in the middle, it's like a line art football. I need to do that.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
You're
how
onto
are you guys
something
doing?
I'm
doing
great.
pretty good, man.
That's good.
I'm-
That's good to hear.
I'm pretty good.
Feeling pretty damn.
The vibes are continuing to deteriorate over here for multiple reasons. Football and real life related.
Yeah, no
Um,
shade.
Did I talk about? Oh, I didn't talk about my the way I've been describing it as my shit ass fucking car. So last week, my bottom split moment of the week on Fake Racers podcast, which you can also listen to here on Track and Turf Media. So I was talking about how my engine's been like going into limp mode, and then I had a check engine light come on, and that started as a it's a $90 sensor, and then that blossomed into it's the fuel pump is bad, which then went into we should also probably replace the high pressure fuel pump, and then it worked for a day and a half, and then the check engine light came back on, and my car was running like garbage, and then it wouldn't turn on, and then I took it back to the mechanic, and they were like, oh, the fuel pump that we put in is bad, so they warrantied it, and also the battery is bad, and apparently batteries cost like $300 now. Why did nobody tell me this? Oh, and also the labored start fucked up my starter, and my starter is what killed my battery. So let's just go put one of those in it too. And so all of my money's gone is basically what I'm getting at. So we're here now.
See, at that point, just throw the whole car away and get a new one.
Yeah. If I had any money to begin with, that would have been the plan.
Have you
No,
tried
see-
making more money?
I should just work harder. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Have you
Pull
tried
yourself
taking
up by
out?
your bootstraps?
Yeah.
Have you tried taking out a loan with astronomical interest that you'll never be able to pay back in full?
Yeah, but that's good debt. So I should try that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have
make-
to pay it back. Just take out another loan to pay that loan,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then to pay off the
Passive
first one
income.
or pay off the second one, you get a loan from the first place, and then it cancels each other out.
My legal team is telling me that this is something called check kiting, but kites are for nerds, so don't care.
Just don't get caught.
What we
Yeah.
do care about is football.
Yes, I do care
True.
about football.
And if we're talking about things getting caught, there were plenty of touchdowns being caught. Starting with Thursday night football. Baltimore, Maryland, where the best quarterback duel of 2024 got a sequel that fully lived up to the hype. Both Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson threw for 4 scores each. Derrick Henry's pants couldn't contain the fury in which he was running with, since he took control early as the Bengals jumped out to a 27-7 lead in the third quarter. However, a costly Joe Burrow fumble gave the Ravens life, and they reeled off 4 straight touchdown drives to end the game. Down 7, Burrow hits his favorite target, Jamar Chase, for a 5-yard touchdown with less than a minute to go, but a controversial failed 2-point conversion attempt ends their chances at victory and maybe even their season. Ravens 35, Bengals 34.
So first
Um,
off, I want to lead with it's already been a week, and I've forgotten Derrick Henry's pants got pulled down.
Maybe the funniest moment of the week. Yeah, my favorite part, and I sent it to my friend who's a Ravens fan, and he ended up pinning it in our DMs. But it was a guy in the Three Guys Talk About Football podcast Discord channel just saying, Derrick Henry, put that cake away. So, yeah, this game was nuts, and I mean, it's such a perfect like microcosm of the Bengals season of like, hey, they're doing it. Oh, and they lost again anyway. I'm trying to think of a good team they've beat this year.
But before you do, I just want to point out that in their 2 meetings this year with the Bengals and the Ravens, Joe Burrow in those 2 games against the Ravens passed for 820 yards and 9 touchdowns. Jamar Chase was responsible for 457 of those yards and 5 touchdowns in just those 2 games against the Ravens. They lost them both.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm going through their list right now. Do you guys know the 4 teams that they've beat this season?
I know they beat the Panthers and the Giants.
They beat
Panthers,
the Browns.
The Giants, the Browns, and the Raiders. Maybe the 4 worst teams in the NFL.
And the game they played the Browns in was the game Watson tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
But the Bengals also lost those 2 games by a combined 4 points. Like, if one possession goes differently in each of those games, the Bengals are 6-4 and the Ravens are only 5-5.
I mean, you can go even further than that. If Isaiah Likely wears a size shoe smaller, or no, sorry, I'm thinking of the Ravens. I'm misremembering that. If they don't fumble away the game against the Patriots, and they don't have that pass interference on 4th down against the Chiefs, there's 2 more wins. If they stop the Commanders once, they win that game. You know?
Yeah, their only bad loss this year in terms of like point spread was the Eagles game. Like, their other 5 losses this year are by 6, 1, 5, 3, and 1.
Yeah.
Like, their other 5 losses, they've lost by fewer points than just the Eagles game alone. They're that close to literally being 9-1. And instead, they're teetering on the edge of onion rings.
Yeah, there is a stat. I gotta look it up, but Trey Hendrickson has double-digit stats, and I don't think anybody else on the team has more than 2. So
jeez.
And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are producing at such a ridiculous level, and it really doesn't matter because their defense just can't stop anything. It seems like.
Yeah, both defenses kind of took the night off with this one, but yeah, I think we need to circle back to the end of this game and the 2-point conversion attempt that had not 1, but 2 glaringly obvious penalties that were not called on it.
Honestly, you could have called 3, because there's the holding across the field on Mike Gesicki that's not called. You have
and the roughing the passer on Burrow.
Yeah, and then you could make the argument that Jamar Chase was interfered with as well. Like, there are at least 2, if not 3, opportunities for officials to flag this play, and they didn't.
And I have to say too, I'm very happy that Al Michaels called that out on the broadcast before the game ended.
Oh yeah, he's been like very blunt with his criticisms about stuff this year, like
he doesn't
more
have
than
any
usual.
Shits to give anymore.
Yeah, he got paid.
And I also, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Kirk Herbstreit for calling this game at all to begin with, after having to put down his dog last week. Rest in peace, Ben. You were fucking awesome and like the goodest of college football boys. But like, again, shout out Kirk for even being there. And maybe for him it was a distraction, if anything. But the fact that he was there and put that much energy into the game was like good on him for that. Because I'm sure that was a really tough thing to do.
Yeah, Joe mentioned that on the show on Monday. Yeah, brought his A game, so big shout out there.
Pretty much everybody did except for the defenses.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the refs, but you know, that's a given.
But yeah, like I mentioned, both quarterbacks 4 touchdowns through the air. Like that 2-point conversion really was the difference, and like the the Bengals were controlling this game. Like the Ravens did not have a very strong first half. They didn't get out to a strong second half. They punted 4 times in 5 drives. Like they were just not getting anything done. And then you have the Joe Burrow strip sack. They immediately go down and score a touchdown, and the Ravens are not stopped for the rest of the game. And like that just wasn't going to work out. And you have a turnover on downs on Baltimore's side of the field, which is a good gamble to go for, except then the Ravens took it all the way in the other direction and just scored again anyway. So like it's been the story of the Bengals season. It's like seemingly they can play anybody and beat anybody, and then they don't.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamar Jackson also is well on his way to getting a 3rd MVP of his career. So far through the Ravens' 10 games, he is 2nd in passing yards, tied for the league lead in passing touchdowns, and leads the league in total QBR.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's better this year than he was last year.
I think you're right. I think he's already equaled the amount of passing touchdowns this year that he had all of last year. And he's got 8 games left.
I've got it pulled up right now. Yeah, 24 last year, and he's already at 24 this year. To 2 interceptions.
Something to note is his rushing is significantly dropped off.
That is
Since
true.
They've picked up Derrick Henry, they can use him as a passer now, and he can use his legs to get out of a bad situation. But they're not relying on him as a running back anymore.
Yeah, and I that's one of the narratives I've heard people talk about with him is like he might not have that same like he's still a top 5 rushing quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He might not have that same like ridiculous explosion that he used to, but he's still one of the best runners in the league. And to just have that as like a trick up your sleeve rather than the thing that you're building your entire offense around, like it's the same thing that the Bills have with Josh Allen right now, where like you have this extremely useful tool and you don't even need to use it most of the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to continue off of where Lamar ranks amongst the league leaders, Derrick Henry leads the NFL in carries, leads the league in rushing yards, and leads the league in rushing touchdowns.
God.
So they have the best rusher and the best passer on the field together at the same time. And the fact they've lost even 3 games this year with those 2 on the field together is almost miraculous.
Yeah. Yeah, you might see this team sweep MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
It's entirely possible.
Definitely a chance.
Yeah. And like one last note on the Bengals before we move on, but like, you know, it's easy to be so down and out on them, and because they just keep dropping these close games. They're only a game out of the playoffs still. Like
somehow.
You look at the 2 teams they're behind, the Broncos and Colts, I'm like, they'd probably beat them if they were to play them. So.
Well, they got Denver New Year's weekend, so that one could very well have playoff implications in it.
Yeah, that really could come down to like a winning in.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it could be between them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ravens rolling on. Then we kicked off Sunday in old Germany. Why don't you take us there?
Munich is a city as pretty as Uma Thurman, but I wonder how you say bad football in German. The Giants and Panthers attempted to play a game, and holy goddamn fuck was it lame. Danny Dimes might now be worth less than a penny. Watching him play may only be possible with a bottle of Henny. Bryce Young has somehow won back-to-back starts, and the G-Men are 2-8. That's a lot of sharts, as the Carolina Panthers took out the New York Football Giants 20-17 in a game that might finally be the end of Daniel Jones in the Big Apple.
Have you guys read the Giants' first half drive summary?
I have not. I'm worried.
Punt, missed field goal, punt, interception, end of half.
Dear God.
Oh, the Giants suck, man.
Dude,
what happened?
I woke up to this game, you know, because like it starts extra early here on the West Coast, and I like woke up and I saw the way the game was going, And then I saw it going into overtime, and I was like, I gotta bring this up. And so I was laying in bed, and I pulled up the stream on my phone, and I'm not exaggerating. I turned it on right as they handed off to Tyrone Tracy as he fumbled the ball in the first play of overtime. And I was like, of course that would happen. Like, of course that would happen to the Giants.
I did not realize they've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah,
They were sitting
They
2
were
and
2 and
3.
3 after beating the Seahawks. Yeah.
You can get right, and then the wheels fell off. What a
Oh my
disaster,
God.
man.
I did not even realize that. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, like
And
you mentioned.
after
Okay.
week 5, imagine telling somebody that the Panthers would pass the Giants. They've won 2 in a row.
And the other thing that should be noted with Daniel Jones, too, and the reason why I bring up why this might finally be the end for him, he has an injury guarantee clause in his contract where if he is unable to pass a physical at the beginning of the offseason, the Giants will owe him $23 million next year, whether he plays or not.
Oh God.
It's going to be a similar situation to what happened with Russell Wilson and the Broncos last year,
Yeah.
where they might
there
just decide to bench him to leave themselves off the hook for the money.
There was an interview with Brian Dable this week where they asked him about that, and they said, like, is Daniel Jones going to be the starter from here on out? And his answer was along the lines of, we're gonna use this week and we're gonna evaluate everything. And then the guy asking him the question is like, well, every time we ask you this question, you always say Daniel's the starter, and so, like, are you saying that he is not going to be starting from here on out? And then he just was like, well, we're just going to evaluate everything during our bye week. And everybody's like, yeah, he's done. Like, he's not saying it, but like, it's a very coded way of saying Daniel Jones is not ever going to play for the Giants again.
It's over.
Yeah. 2 interceptions on the day. Tyrone Tracy had a good game going, scored on the ground. And like, to his credit, Daniel Jones did score on the ground as well. But I mean, this offense was it's such a mess, and like they can't keep going on like this.
No.
Especially with the money that they're paying him. Yeah, poor Malik Neighbors having a genuinely great rookie year somehow.
Imagine what he could do with a quarterback worth of shit.
Same with Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yep, and Xavier.
They might have Tommy Cutlets here in a couple weeks, so we'll see.
And
Chuba
Hubbard had a huge game too, just off of his contract extension. On the flip side of that, to supplement what wasn't a very great game for Bryce Young. It was just enough to beat like the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, solid. So it wasn't a complete fucking failure. So like genuinely, Bryce Young has been much better the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So big shout out there. But yeah, like this was a game that was basically all running backs. And like that was the shame about the overtime fumble was like Tyrone Tracy has been one of the few bright spots for this team and was like turning out to be like a pretty big steal for them in the draft, and then literally just fumbled it on the very first play from scrimmage in overtime. And then it was a funny thing I was pointing out was like, again, they fumbled it on the like 25-yard line, and so the Panthers get the ball immediately in field goal range, and then they ran 2 plays, and I was like, just kick it. Like, what are we doing here? And then Noah Joyce, friend of the show, pitched the idea that they were just rubbing it, like, look at how good at not fumbling we are. So yeah, we also got Sean Hockley calling a penalty in German. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I
think he should just keep doing that from now on, even when he comes back over here.
Yeah.
You want to grow the game internationally? Well, there you go.
It's gonna just do one game entirely in Dutch.
I don't like the Dutch. Too orange.
I just typed false start in Dutch is just Vals start. What is offsides?
Vals?
Yeah. Offsides is buitenspel.
Unserious language, man. I'm sorry.
I still can't get over That spank me daddy is still "Gif me ein Clap Papa" in Dutch.
Oh, and they're all going to be underwater. Thank God. Anyway, this football game was the worst thing to happen to Germany in about 80 years. Genuinely set the sport back.
Yeah,
I hate the Giants.
same.
I think they hate themselves.
Yeah, I would too.
The one thing that this will also do is I feel like if they do indeed bench Danny Dimes or Danny Pennies at this point, and they go with Drew Lock for the rest of the year and give themselves good draft position, it gives Brian Dable the ability to save his job and go into next season with a quarterback that he handpicks to lead his offense. So maybe it'll be better for them next year.
Because Brian Dable does not like Daniel Jones.
He inherited him. He can't do shit with him.
If he can pick his own guy, I'm curious to see if he can turn it around.
Like, say what you want about Shadur Sanders and, some of the stuff that's gone on with him and Dion at Colorado, but like, from a pure talent standpoint alone, Shadur Sanders could be a successful starter in the NFL, I think. I don't think it's far-fetched if the Giants pick him in the top 5 next year and he leads them to like 7 or 8 wins off the bat.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Don't forget, Dayball came in to Buffalo and helped develop Josh Allen.
Yeah.
If he can get his guy, I think he could make that team better. It's just Daniel Jones is cooked.
I mean, you look at the one season that they got like half decent play out of Daniel Jones. They went to the playoffs and they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
So
get ready to start speaking maple syrup, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if he even gets signed by NFL Europa at this point.
Yeah, nah.
He's gonna go to the Israeli Football League.
He's gonna be speaking lumber section at Home Depot in a couple weeks.
God. It is fun. Like, there was a really funny point they made on NFL Daily this week where they talk about like anybody whenever there's a discussion about Daniel Jones, it's always prefaced by how nice he is, and they're all, like, it's almost kind of like a backhanded compliment, or like a coded insult. Like, yeah, you're really nice, and that's all about.
If the first thing you say about a quarterback is he's nice, he fucking sucks.
It just reminds me of the Top Gear joke where they show some like hideous hybrid and Hammond's like, now it may be ugly, but it is slow.
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
anyway,
good God.
On to Kansas City, I guess.
Oh man.
Fuck.
Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs find yet another way to win a football game, beating Sean Payton's Broncos 16-14 on a last-second blocked field goal. Taylor Swift's boyfriend hauled in the Chiefs' lone touchdown in the game, relying on Harrison Butker's leg to get them the rest of the way. Mahomes and co keep finding ways to win with the decimated roster, but with the impending return of Isaiah Pacheco, this team looks like a juggernaut we haven't seen the likes of since the 07 Patriots. They can't keep getting away with it!
Dude, I appreciate that the phrase Chiefs bullshit is entering the NFL lexicon, because good God, like, this is a new level of it.
I've been seeing videos pop up on Instagram of AI voices of Chris Collinsworth and whatnot saying Lord Mahomes, and from now on, every time I see a Chiefs game, I have to think about that.
You can't keep getting away with it!
I would have played that earlier, but I can't change pages on my soundboard without stopping the previous one. What were you saying, Dewey?
34 teams in the history of the NFL have started a season 9-0 or better. The Chiefs' point differential of plus 58 is the lowest of all of them.
So they're
only plus 58 through 9 games, where, for comparison, through their first 9 games of 2007, the Patriots had a point differential of 208.
So, oh my God, who was it who pointed it out? I can't remember, but it's on another show that Connor Orr's on, where they were talking about the Chiefs' winning streak and how the theory is that the NFL is is behind this. Because you know how there's that... actually, I don't know if you guys do know about this. There's a Hallmark NFL movie for Christmas coming out this year about a like Kansas City Chiefs themed romance movie.
Oh, for God's sakes!
What?
And here's the best part, right? The night that the Chiefs would they would break the record is literally Christmas night.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Because if they win through all the way through week 16, when they beat the Texans, they'll tie the record. And if they beat the Steelers on Christmas, they take the record of longest win streak in NFL history, just in time for the Chiefs, lifetime Christmas movie to come out. So,
Oh, I'm
They're
going to be
milking the
feasting
fuck out
in
of
a
this.
couple weeks. I will never, ever, ever, ever let that go down.
I
they pull that
personally will stop the Chiefs from winning.
Yes.
Well, no.
Put
it
me
needs
in,
to
coach.
be- it needs to be a shit team that beats them, though, because what it reminds me of is when the 2011 Packers started 13-0, and they lost to the Chiefs in Week 15.
Oh my god.
It needs to be a team that sucks, that takes them out. The Chiefs play the Panthers in 2 weeks. Imagine if Bryce Young beat Patrick Mahomes in 2 weeks.
They play the Raiders the week after that.
Oh no.
They have Cleveland on the road later this year, too. Oh,
Have you guys ever seen the John
I
Boyce
beg.
video about how like a terrible Chiefs drive against the Jets, or a terrible Jets drive against the Chiefs in 2011 directly led to Patrick Mahomes getting there?
Yes, I have seen that.
I have
you know
not,
what
but I'm intrigued.
So, a TLDR, it was the 2011 season, and the Chiefs were fresh off a playoff season with Todd Haley as their coach, and they were sitting at like 4-7. Like, they weren't terrible. They were just riddled with injuries. And they had a drive where the Jets had, I think, 8 yards of offense and scored a touchdown because of Chiefs penalties, literally drove them all the way down the field. And it was
Oh
a
my
blowout
God.
loss. It didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but Todd Haley got fired after that game because of that. And that led to Romeo Crennel taking over as interim head coach, who immediately beat the undefeated Packers. And that win got Romeo Crennel the job for 2012. And then they went 2-14 and they fired him after a season. And the thing he says, he's like, if they don't hire Crennel as their interim coach, or as their coach for 2012, and they do a proper head coaching search,
Oh, they don't
are
end up
not-
with Andy Reid.
they don't end up with Andy Reid. Exactly. Because Reid
Fuck.
was available in 2013, and Andy Reid is the guy who scouted Patrick Mahomes. And the Saints
Fuck you, Jets.
the Saints were hell bent on drafting Patrick Mahomes, and then the Bills caught them off guard by trading that pick to the Chiefs. Yeah. So we almost ended up with Patrick Mahomes as the successor to Drew Brees because of that. So
That might have arguably been worse than how this actually turned out.
yeah. And
If we're
now,
being 100% honest.
yeah, and now Sean Payton has to stand on the other sideline and watch as his team has a game-winning field goal fucking blocked because everybody on the left side of the line forgot to block, essentially. Yeah, this was not a great game.
No.
I mean,
it was not.
But like the Broncos jumped out early, up 14-3 in the first half. Miss a field goal before half. Man, that would have been useful. But like we mentioned, the Chiefs kick a field goal to go up 16-14 on their final drive. The Broncos get all the way down to the Kansas City 17. They line up for essentially a chip shot field goal, and then like 6 Chiefs get their hand on the ball to block it. It was insane how many people were into the Broncos backfield on that field goal attempt.
And it's a shame because that's going to overshadow a genuinely great final drive by the Broncos.
Absolutely.
For them
yeah.
to chew up that much game clock and get all the way down there at basically the perfect spot just to get it blocked. I mean,
yeah, it was a
that shouldn't
5
go
minute
without
and
its credit.
57-second drive. Yeah.
Not just that, too, but also the fact that the Broncos defense was successfully able to hold the Chiefs to only 16 points after
yeah.
the performance they had against Tampa last week.
Like, you get Bo Nix, some friends, in the receiving core, and that team is going to be nasty.
Oh yeah.
I hate Sean Payton, but he has done a damn good job rebuilding that team without Russ.
Yeah, I mean, you
Might
just look how
be-
fast Bo Nix has grown. Like, he was maybe the worst quarterback in the league through the first 3 weeks, and now
Yeah.
he's playing at like a totally competent NFL level.
Which, having watched him, was due to being given a cupcake playbook, and now that they're starting to open it up and gel, he's starting to find his groove.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how cutting Russ like that changed the trajectory of two franchises like that for this season.
Oh, yeah.
Arguably for the better too.
Yeah, for both of them.
Yeah. Well, and I think a big thing about it too was like, not to turn this into like a shitting on Russell Wilson fest, but I don't know if he like took super well to Sean Payton's like very blunt style of coaching.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
and
doubt it.
Bo Nix
They
has
clashed.
adapted to it extremely well. And it is funny because it just kind of seemed like, and this was kind of all of our take when we did our draft review show, that it was like they just needed somebody, right? And it was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just take Bo Nix, and this might work out. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, and on the Chiefs side, like they couldn't get anything going on the ground. Travis Kelce did set the record for, I believe, his most touchdown receptions by a Kansas City Chief, or it might have just, or I can't remember if it's just a Chief in general or if it was a tight end, but putting that in the history books.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird that the Chiefs have, you know, these two Hall of Famers on their offense, and yet they're a defensive team now. So, 2019 Patriots all over again.
Hopefully they do the same thing.
About to say
Yeah.
the way the 2019 Patriots ended, I'm kind of rooting for a similar effect
And
there.
they picked up a really good wide receiver at the deadline, huh?
Yeah, they did.
With DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Too bad
Fuck!
they didn't also send a player to the Jets who had mono to try to kill Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
So
Does this
there
mean
is.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to go insane.
Oh no. Dude, there was a. So again, it's like the 8th time I've referenced another football podcast in this episode, but the Three Guys Talk About Football show from that season, like when they were like he was already, or the guy on the show who's a Jets fan was like already down and out after week 1 because Adam Gase, and they were going through like trades that happened, and they were talking about how the Patriots traded Demaryius Thomas to the Jets, and he was like, why? Wait, what? Is there a bomb planted in him? Like, Bill Belichick hates the Jets. And then sure enough, the next week, Sam Darnold got mono, and everybody was like, oh my god, he planted mono in Demaryius Thomas.
Oh my god.
God. Anyway, a team that is an offensive team is the Buffalo Bills. 2 weeks ago, Anthony Richardson tapped out of a 4th down play because he was tired, and head coach Shane Steichen decided that's where he'd stay for the foreseeable future. Enter Elite Dragon Joe Flacco, ready to work his magic again. However, this time there was no fairy tale to be had, as the Bills are a team that doesn't bother themselves in any of that pixie dust bullshit. The Bills are an all-conquering force, steamrolling whatever soft entity stands in their way every Sunday. Joe Flacco's first pass attempt of the day, pick 6 by Teron Johnson. Joe Flacco's 5th pass attempt of the day, interception by Austin Johnson. Later in the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10 from the Buffalo 38, Flacco is strip sacked by Greg Rousseau, with none other than Damar Hamlin recovering the ball. 2 drives later, Flacco is intercepted by Taylor Rapp. Nighty-night, Joe. Thank you for your service. Bills 30, Colts 20.
More on that later.
Yeah. This is this week's edition of The Game Is Not Nearly As Close as the Score Suggested.
The Colts were shit stomped in this one.
This was a disaster. Like, last week was pretty goddamn bad for Flacco, and then this week was somehow worse.
Yeah, Father Time might be catching up to him now.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the few games where a defense did coax some mistakes out of Josh Allen. He threw 2 interceptions, which again, up until like 2 weeks ago, he hadn't thrown one all season. But their running game was really the centerpiece. James Cook, 19 carries for 80 yards and a score on the ground. Josh Allen scored on the ground. They had the defensive score. The story coming out of this game is the Colts, which it does bug me to watch everybody be like, "I told you so" about Anthony Richardson, as if Anthony Richardson wasn't playing like some butt ass shit through like the first 5 games of the season or however many he started.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Flacco experiment didn't work. More on that later.
Yeah, well, we mentioned earlier with the effect of that Derrick Henry's had on Lamar Jackson's style of play. The same thing has happened here with James Cook and Josh Allen.
Oh yeah. And I think a big part of that too is their new acquisition. Amari Cooper was inactive with, I believe, a wrist injury, and that kind of, we saw them resort back to the kind of red zone problems they've had through the air. But like, I mean, this is a team that will just fucking smash you in every way possible, it seems like.
And they'll find a way to figure it out if they don't immediately.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to think of the 4 games that the Colts have won.
I know they beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers.
They beat the Bears, they beat the Titans, and they beat the Dolphins.
That's not really that impressive. I mean,
no.
The Steelers win. Even then, it was Justin Fields Steelers.
The other 3,
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Joe Flacco can't lose. He has to beat the Steelers at least like every other time he plays them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's written in the law.
Well,
Lamar Jackson is 1-7 against the Steelers.
Is he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That being said, though,
Joe Flacco took all that with him when he left.
So, like, that being said, yeah, the Colts only really have one semi-impressive win, but all 6 of their losses are by 10 or fewer points.
This is like...
The Houston game was 2, the Green Bay game was 6, the Jags game was 3, Houston again was 3, Minnesota 8, and Buffalo now 10. Like, they've... Even though they've lost 6 times, they've all been 6 very close losses.
This is one of the better, like, shitty football teams I've seen. Because, like, when I think of the Colts, I'm like, yeah, they stink. Why does anybody care? And then I look at them and I'm like, wait, they're in the playoffs?
They're bad, but they're gritty.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. God, who do they play next week?
The Jets.
Oh, God, they're going to be 5-6, aren't they?
Well, I mean, I hope so.
You never know. But
yeah,
and they got the Lions and the Patriots after that, so 6 and 7 maybe.
Watch them beat the fucking Lions.
Oh God,
and lose to the Patriots, please. Please.
They lose to the Jets and Patriots, but they beat the Lions.
That would hit like crack.
I also got to point out just how onion rings the AFC East is.
It's hilarious.
The Bills
already
lead
over.
is 5 games now. They're at 8-2. The next closest is 3-6.
Oh God.
Yeah, this division reeks, man. But it's really funny.
The Bills, I believe, have the highest net points in the league. Second highest to the Lions, which is... Okay, imagine going back 10 years and talking about the 2 best scored or point differentials in the league are the Bills and the Lions.
Honestly, even 6 years ago.
Yeah. The Bills are plus 97. The next best in the AFC East is the Jets at negative 37.
Jesus Christ.
So, God. Yeah.
It really just changed hands of the division like that. And it's going to be more shit stomping for the next 20 years.
The Bills could very easily win like the next 10 division titles. and break the Patriots record just like that. I couldn't even be mad about it either. If they're just that much better than everybody else, it's just what Brady did for fucking 15 years.
At least
Yeah,
it's not
actually-
the Jets.
I'm doing the math right now. If the Bills win this week and the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots all lose, they clinch the division in Week 11.
Jesus fucking
Because
Christ.
then they'll be at
my
9-2, and the Dolphins will be at 3-7. Oh wait, no, okay, no, the Dolphins could still technically catch them.
Well, I think the
but-
Pats could too, because the Pats still play the Bills both times.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
in 2
at Week
weeks,
12 they could though.
in 2 weeks they can clinch the division if they win both and all three teams lose out.
Good
For
God.
what it's worth, a team has not clinched in Week 11 since the 07 Patriots.
Oh my god.
It's been, hang on.
17 years.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my god.
That was 7.
The-
Fuck!
the 07 Patriots,
Ugh.
the 04 Eagles, the 1997 49ers, and the 85 Bears. Only four to
That-
clinch by Week 11.
I was gonna say, yeah, like the 85 Bears are maybe
Legendary.
the best single season team ever.
Yeah.
The 04 Eagles are very underrated in the history of the NFL. And only
Oh, yeah,
because
that-
they lost
that
that
is
Super
true.
Bowl.
That's
That
an
team was
all-time great
insane.
team too. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the TO year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
Thank
remember
you,
what
Adam
that Niners
Vinatieri.
team did.
Wait, Steven, what was that?
I don't remember what that Niners did.
The 97 Niners, I think they lost the NFC
They
title
lost to
game
the
that year.
Packers in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Oh, that game. That's right. Okay.
And they then lost the Super Bowl to Mr. Elway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Bills Colts.
Yeah.
that John Elway and the Bills.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to Chicago.
Mayo's militia rolled into Chicago and lit up Caleb Williams' Hotel Trivago. Put this offense on a milk carton because they're currently missing a performance so putrid that no soul should be witnessing. A lot of the dysfunction was the work of Shane Waldron, who has finally been into the unemployment cauldron. Bears fans should charge the McCaskies a suffering fee as they lost once again, 19-3, to the New England Patriots, who have now won their third game. Yay! We
So-
won!
I'm sorry
A
you
lot
had to
of-
watch this.
Yeah, it was
a lot
awful.
a lot of coaches go into the bye week and they exit the bye week better, and the Bears might be the only one I've ever seen that entered the bye week hot and then came out worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're fucked, man. Matt
Yeah.
Eberflus has completely lost that locker room. It is over.
They have
Well-
scored a touchdown since the bye.
Well,
One.
not only that, but they were 4-2. They're now 4-5. They have 8 games to go. 6 of them are against the NFC North. They have not played a division game yet, and one of their 2 remaining non-division games is the 49ers.
Oh.
Yeah, so-
They are going to get fucking railroaded the rest of the season.
The only game that seems like they played the Seahawks in week 17, right?
That's
then-
it.
Which could have been the Shane Waldron revenge game, but
Yeah, what
Yeah.
happened?
funny how that works out.
Yeah, they play the 8-1 Lions twice, the 7-2 Vikings twice, the 6-3 Packers twice, in the 5-4 49ers that would probably be 8-2 if not for injuries. So ugh.
A healthy Niners team is going to push them in the ground like a thumbtack.
This game against the Patriots was literally their best chance to win for the rest of the year. And they got borderline blown out and dominated. And
Oh yeah.
I also want to bring up another thing too. I have talked about almost every week this year how bad the Patriots defense has gotten progressively over the year. They sacked Caleb Williams 9 times! 9 sacks! And for what it's worth, the Patriots had 8 sacks total in their previous 6 games.
Oh my god.
And they sacked him 9 times.
I'm genuinely just at a loss for words with this fucking team right now, dude. Like, I just remember after the Jags game where they destroyed the Jaguars, and we were like, hey, they're building something.
Yeah.
Like, Caleb Williams is playing well. And then
The Hail Mary broke them.
Yeah, genuinely. Like, that was a game where both offenses couldn't really get anything going. Both defenses played out of their minds. And I genuinely wonder, how does this team play the next two games if they don't blow that Hail Mary? Like, because they've scored 6 and 3 points since then. In fact,
9 and 3.
Or sorry, 9 and 3. Yeah. So they're literally scoring an average of 6 points fewer every game. So they're on pace for negative 3 points against the Packers.
Is that just a pick six?
It's somehow you go to kick a field goal and it gets blocked. And that's probably what that is.
Yeah, the last touchdown for the Bears was with 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter of the Commanders game. So they've gone 8 entire quarters now without scoring a touchdown.
Which we should point out was the only touchdown they scored in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like outside of the Eagles last season, I don't remember the last time I've seen a team that's just imploded like this for seemingly no reason. Like, things were just going good, and then all of a sudden they're not. And yeah, and Eberflus is making moves to try to save his job right now. It's not a very good look right now.
It's not gonna happen.
If I was a Bears fan, if Matt Eberflus returns next year, and I'm a season ticket holder, I'm fucking canceling that shit.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I would.
I think they're gonna fire him, and I think they're gonna get Caleb a new coach in year 2. And it's gonna end up just like it did with Trubisky and just like it did with Fields, where it's not gonna do anything, and they've already blown it and fucked them up, and they have to start over again.
They've missed on like their last 6 fucking head coaches.
Knowing them, they're gonna hire like Vic Fangio and just
oh god,
continue the defensive coach fucking trend.
Like, since they fired Lovie Smith, who have they had? Like Mark Trestman, John Fox, Matt Nagy, and Eberflus?
I think so.
Are we missing
that
one?
Sounds right.
Good fuck.
I mean, lest we forget, Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year. So, Mark Trestman was a 4th down stop away from making the playoffs in his first season too, which is really funny to think about.
That's about the luck for the Bears, though. It's almost karma in a way because Lovie Smith was fired after they went 10-6.
God, yeah. Still one of the, like, I
And
know
they've
it
won
was
10
back
games
to back.
once since.
Yeah, I know it was back-to-back years that they collapsed down the stretch, but, like, come the fuck on. Like,
are the Bears just cursed?
That one was on par with the Lions firing Jim Caldwell, and it's not talked about enough.
Yeah. Steven, do you know about the Bears Honey Bears curse?
I do not.
So, for years, they had their cheerleaders who were called the Honey Bears, and they won the 85 Super Bowl, and that was I think George Halas died like the year before that or something like that. I can't remember the timeline. But after their Super Bowl year, George Halas's daughter got rid of the Honey Bears, and they have not been a contender since. So, like, there's a lot of people in Chicago that think that cursed the Bears when they fired all their cheerleaders. So
should they bring them back? Do they still do that?
Let's see.
I mean, if they brought the cheerleaders back, then there's no hope for them.
Well, I mean, do they have to bring them back to make the team successful again?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Even though the Honey Bears were a hit, after Halas' death in '83, his daughter, Virginia McCaskey, attempted to sever all ties with the group. She believed that they were sexist and degrading to women, as well as them costing up to $50,000 a season. Oh, no!
Oh, no, a professional team owner has to spend money? No.
However, McCaskey had to legally honor the group's contract with the team until it expired at the end of the 1985 season. The Chicago Honey Bears had their final performance in Super Bowl 20 in the Superdome in New Orleans, performing at halftime to Prince's song "Baby I'm a Star."
And ironically enough, in that game, they beat the ever-living fuck out of the Patriots.
Yep. So
Funny how
bring
that
back
shit works.
cheerleaders.
They
No,
but they
on the
have to
other
put a
hand,
spin on
don't.
it.
Don't bring them back. This is funny.
Dumb boys.
This is good content every week.
It is actually, yeah. So
Yeah,
Anyway.
Drake May played pretty good-ish. Enough.
yeah, I mean he didn't have to do much. So
No, not really.
He's really not that bad.
oh yeah, I mean Drake May's been very good for them so far.
I've read something that he has like the most turnover prone plays, but also the most explosive plays, or like most first down plays or something like that this season. So I
Yeah.
mean, if he can rein it in, he's not bad. Better than fucking Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi.
Yeah,
More on that later.
Yeah, they started 2-10 last year, and we're now at 3-7, which still isn't great, but 3-7 looks a whole lot sexier than 2-10 does.
It's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
Well, just the vibes are better too.
Yeah.
and we have the same record as the Jets, and we're only a half game behind the Cowboys. As we all thought would happen.
Also, more on that later.
What happened?
Well, we'll talk about that game in a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
that's
what
been
happened.
bumping it up, bumping it up.
Anyway, let's go to our nation's capital, where Steven's team beat our team.
Selfish bitch.
Sunday's marquee game. It's our team versus my team, as the Steelers roll into DC to face the Commanders. Russ and Jaden went band for band in a nail-biter, with Mike Williams hauling in the game winner in his first game as a Steeler. A brutal Commanders false start on fourth down secured the win for the Steelers 28-27. After having to deal with Matt Canada, jet sweeps, and things of that nature for the past several years, the standard is once again the standard in Pittsburgh.
Gotta point out.
Why'd their
Okay.
backup safety attempt to pass?
They've been trying that fake punt, and 99 times out of 100 it works. But Killebrew started running before he caught the ball, basically.
Yeah.
And nerves made him drop it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, the play was there. He just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Should also point out that was Mike Williams' first target as a Steeler.
Yes, it
So-
was.
And his first touchdown of the season because he somehow managed to not get one with the Jets.
Did you see that thing that he posted on Instagram?
I
did
don't
not.
think I
Mike
did.
Williams, one of the nicest guys in the league. You know the story about being traded from the Jets, how Aaron Rodgers derided him for not following the red line on the practice field?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta
I've
pull
got
up
an
his
article
Instagram.
pulled up real quick.
But
Former
his
first round
post game, or
Go.
go ahead and say it.
Oh no, I'm still pulling it up. Go
Okay.
for it.
After Sunday's game, Mike Williams posted on Instagram, thankful hashtag whole lotta, hashtag we back, hashtag red line. For one of the nicest guys in the league to take a shot at Aaron Rodgers like that, goes to show how shitty he was treated there.
Wait, you're
And-
telling me that Aaron Rodgers is difficult to work with and unpleasant?
No.
More on that later. But also the fact that, like, that was his only target, it was his only catch, and it went for 32 yards, and in his 10 games played this year, that one catch for 32 yards was his third most yards in a game. He's only
Goddamn.
eclipsed more than 35 yards once, and it was the Broncos game where it rained the whole time.
Oh my god. Yeah, it just seemed like he and Rodgers just couldn't get on the same page. Which again, I'm taking it back to a line I said, I think 2 years ago. Maybe I never even said it on the show. I don't know. But there's always this talk in NFL media about how like this player or like this receiver hasn't earned Aaron Rodgers' trust yet. And I'm like, why have I never heard any other quarterback have that narrative around them?
Yeah,
You know?
really makes you think.
Like I know
And-
Aaron Rodgers is great and they run a very specific type of offense with him, but like the thing with the Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown offense, which was kind of a similar thing where they had this like ridiculous mind meld where Antonio Brown was essentially freelancing on every play. Like there was never any talk about like, oh, but does he have Ben Roethlisberger's trust? It's like, no, he just throws them the ball when they're fucking open.
Yeah, the quarterback should trust his receivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like
That's
Brady and
what they
Moss.
do.
It's your job.
And then for him to go to supposed problem child Russell Wilson and immediately score and immediately get a game winner like that is
Yeah.
very damning.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we were too hard on Russell Wilson last year.
Yeah.
Knowing that
and
it was mostly about Peyton in hindsight makes that make sense.
yes and no, because like the problem with Russell Wilson in Denver was like towards the end of his stint in Seattle. Like if you ever listen to insiders talk about that, it always bugged him that he didn't get the like level of credit that the Seahawks defense did for that Super Bowl. Which
honestly is valid.
yeah, and it's not to say that it's a difficult problem, I feel like, because like I agree, but at the same time when you think about that Super Bowl, you think about the defense ruining Peyton Manning's life, right?
Mhm.
Russell Wilson didn't have to do much in that game. And it's not to say that Russell Wilson wasn't ever great for the Seahawks, but as soon as the defense fell apart, they were no longer title contenders. And that seemed to be a problem in his last couple of years in Seattle, and that was the problem when he showed up in Denver because they had all this hype and he stunk while he was there. And he played solidly last year, but not nearly to the level of how much he was being paid, and it was a distraction. And he butted heads with Sean Payton and things like that. And so I think it's a combo of maybe I think NFL media was a little too harsh on him. Just for I think a big part of it is because Russell Wilson can be kind of annoying.
Yes.
But he's not a bad dude. I don't think people
No.
dislike Russell Wilson.
He's not an asshole, he's a cornball.
Yeah, he's just weird. And so I think it's a combo of that, and I think this move has been really humbling. And I think
Yes.
Mike Tomlin was a perfect coach for him to try to revive his career with. Because
If you think about
Okay.
sorry about that. No?
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
But like the Steelers always have big personalities, but they always work.
Yes. That's what I was going to say is
Yeah.
being a Steeler means you put your nose down and you work, and fucking around is not tolerated. From his previous situation, being a game manager in a defense-heavy team in Seattle, he's going into the same situation where he just has to not fuck up, and the defense will do the job for him. And I think that's why this pairing has been so successful.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like even though his stat line isn't super pretty after this game, he still throws for just shy of 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be because he has a two-headed monster in the backfield. Either Najee or Warren can basically get yards at will.
Oh yeah.
And he just needs to throw when necessary. It's a really good combo.
Yeah. So I mean, it is funny to think about like how, including us, how skeptical people were about the move from Justin Fields. And at this point, you're not looking back.
No,
not at all.
I love you, Fields, but this is the move.
Yeah. And who's to say that Justin Fields can't be a quarterback of the future for them?
Yeah.
There's
And
something there, obviously.
he likes it here. There's been good vibes from everybody up and down the sidelines on every play. It's a team.
Oh, yeah.
And even though he's the backup, he seems happy to be the backup in that
Yeah,
he's
he's not in
learning
Chicago
how to
anymore.
be a quarterback. Yeah. Yeah, he's not in Chicago first and foremost.
That certainly helps.
And I will say,
Okay.
yeah, on the flip side, Washington is still a monster.
Yeah, there is some concern over the whole Cliff Kingsbury thing and that his offenses struggle down the line. And yes, they have lost 2 games. Or wait, did they lose last week? I'm pretty sure they did. Can't remember. Like
Well, they
this
lost
is
to Baltimore.
Yeah, that's right. But like even then, like people are saying like, oh, this was probably Jaden Daniels' worst game, and they still scored 27 points. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not panicking yet. Terry McLaurin had a huge game. They were without Brian Robinson, but Eckler still got them in the end zone twice.
Mm-hmm.
So the Steelers are just a good goddamn team, and like as much as we
Hell
keep talking
yeah.
about the Ravens, they're the ones leading the fucking division still.
Again, these two, it's two hobos fighting in a phone booth. I love this division. I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world.
It's so ridiculous. So, any closing thoughts on Steelers commies?
Steelers going to Super Bowl.
Our team will be back, though this might be their toughest challenge yet this week.
Stay tuned for that one. Oh god, hang on. I'm having technical difficulties here.
Proud of you.
On to New Orleans. October 17th, Sean Payton's return to the Big Easy. The Superdome saw the long-since vanquished Aints return as New Orleans football team is haunted by ghosts of his past glory, seemingly the lowest moment in the franchise's checkered history. November 3rd, Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 weeks removed from that horrific loss, Dennis Allen's squad entered the Bank of America Stadium where they somehow hit an even lower point. An all-time historic loss to the aimless Panthers saw the squad in shambles, with the players publicly upset and the team on a 7-game losing streak for the first time since 1999. Dennis Allen is sent packing. All hope lost. However, interim head coach Darren Rizzi didn't get the memo as the Saints traveled down to the 404 where they stunned their most hated rival. Younghoe Koo missed 3 of his 4 field goal attempts, and the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu called game on the Falcons with a late interception of Kirk Cousins. Saints 20, Falcons 17.
Yeah, we should have seen this coming as a fired head coach game.
Well, one of us saw it coming.
Though I do like how the Jets are now the exception to that rule.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh god.
Yeah, and it wasn't really a spectacular game. I mean, Derek Carr played, probably his best game since week 2, which been pretty easy to do that when how he's played that bad for that long. But yeah, enough for them to win, and a very, very huge missed opportunity here for the Falcons to really start to put some distance between themselves and a reeling Bucs team.
Yeah, more on that later. Yeah, because with a win here, they would be up 3 games.
And they swept them.
Yeah, with the sweep. And I still think they are in the driver's seat of this division. Like, it's going to be a tough task for the Bucs to catch them. Which is funny because the Bucs are only a game ahead of the Saints and Panthers, but it feels so much different. But yeah, like you mentioned, such a missed opportunity for the Falcons. Also, in my write-up, I wrote that they went to the 404. That's wrong. They were in New Orleans, not Atlanta. Ignore me.
Proud of you.
That's still to come.
Shout out also Marquez Valdez-Scantling for signing with the Saints 2 weeks ago and getting 109 yards and 2 touchdowns, just like that.
I didn't even know he was on the Saints. And then I saw in the highlights on Sunday, and I was like, wait, what? He's not on the Chiefs anymore?
He was on the Bills at the start of the year. You missed
I didn't even know about that one either. Yeah, not a great game for Derek Carr. Well, actually probably better than I'm giving him credit for. Almost 270 yards, but
Burks was
Yeah, it was an odd game for the Falcons, and I think the biggest part, or they just couldn't finish drives out and score, and Younghoe Koo, who's low-key not having a great season, missed 3 out of his 4 field goal attempts, and that buried them in the end.
Death by field goal, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, this is the Saints drive chart is turnover on downs, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. And then in the second half, punt, field goal, punt, 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 punt. They gave them 5 chances to go down and score and win this game, and Younghoe Koo was directly responsible for missing this, or having the Falcons lose this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats for this year now. He's perfect on extra points this year, but he's missed 7 field goals on the year.
Yeah,
his field goal percentage is only 71%, which for a kicker is bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean, he's got 2 blocked kicks this year too, which is never easy. But if you guys didn't see the ending of this game, like Arthur Blank, like basically like found Young Wei Koo after the game and kind of like put his arm around him and just kind of like escorted him off the field after. Like, not, I don't think they're cutting him, but he was just like, let's get you out of here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need for you to stick around right now. Like, that was bad.
Young Wei Koo is 8 for 14 beyond 40 yards.
Ugh.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and he's been a like long field goal monster the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Which
hit from 58 to beat the Saints in Week 4.
gives
right.
me the thought that he might be trying to play through an injury, because the same thing happened to Chris Boswell a couple years ago, and he couldn't hit shit, and then he was fine. So
Yeah, and
depending on what happens to the Falcons down this stretch, if they need him to sit out, he might just have to sit out and let this heal instead of costing his team a potential playoff spot.
Yeah, because the same thing happened, and obviously we'll talk about this more with the 49ers and Jake Moody. So
Yeah, him too.
Yeah, so that's concerning. Yeah, I mean, no touchdowns through the air for Kirk Cousins. Like, a little bit of an odd game, just for them in general. But like, this is the thing about Saints Falcons games is like these two teams. They play each other with such intensity, and it doesn't really matter what their records are. Like, it's gonna be like this almost every time.
Yes.
It's like the Pats and Dolphins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Every damn time.
yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think this game is gonna matter much, but somebody locked this game and they're happy about it. So I wonder who that was.
Who locked the Falcons?
Yeah, did somebody lock the Falcons too? Anyway, I don't really have much else to say about this game. So, on to Jacksonville.
Football happened to the Vikings and Jags, a game that definitely made the viewers gag. T-Law was replaced by McCorkle and Cheese, who fumbled around with the franchise's car keys. 2 picks from Mr. Mac were joined by 3 from Mr. Sam, and a score of 12-7. God almighty damn.
You know what the worst part about this one is?
Well,
actually, no, the second worst thing about this one is, like, the Jaguars' defense has been terrible this year, and they, like, genuinely played great and came up with the stop at the end of the game to get the ball back. And then fucking Travon Walker just starts punching the shit out of the guy on their 4th down or on their 3rd down stop. They were gonna force a punt and get the ball back, and then he was just like, "Fuck this guy!" Like, literally just punching the shit out of him. Unnecessary roughness. Game over.
Mac Jones also scored the only touchdown for the Jags in this game, and it was on a rush.
Ah, God. It was funny too, because like I was following this game. And I saw Mac Jones score in the first quarter, and I was like, oh no. Like, if we get a game where Mac Jones is, like, scoring at will, like, there's going to be questions about, about fucking, oh my god, why am I Trevor Lawrence? And then they proceeded to do fuck all after their second drive, and I was like, okay, no, Trevor Lawrence is safe. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a very small sample size, only one game, but, you know, maybe Bill O'Brien got too much shit last year. Maybe Mac just really is broken now.
Like, I do want to ask...
Man.
Or, never mind.
No, say it.
No, it's to do with the Vikings. We'll get to it. We're talking about the Jags.
Yeah, the worst part about the Jags, the fuck are we doing with these uniforms? What are we doing here?
What is with their just refusal to wear teal?
Yeah,
imagine
like primary color. Hello,
teal and gold in your palette, and using neither of them.
Like the Jags started this trend that I fucking hate, which is the solid white pants with the solid white socks. It looks fucking awful, and now everybody's doing it, and it again looks awful. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna wear black jerseys with white pants and white socks, and then white helmets. Why? You have gold. Like, why is your alternate helmet white? How about a gold alternate helmet? How about a teal alternate helmet? How about you fucking bring back your throwbacks that they wore a few weeks ago in their first win of the season, and they looked awesome. And they're like, yeah, no, let's not wear those. What are we doing here? Get it together.
I hate it.
Yeah,
So
so
bad.
they won. They beat the Colts in those throwback uniforms, and their other win this year was against the Patriots in London. So they have not won a game on American soil this year in their current uniforms.
That is actually. Hang on, I'm gonna look up what jersey combo they wore when they beat the Patriots.
I think it was their white jerseys. I think.
They were wearing teal on black.
Oh, it was those.
Yeah. Get it together, Jags. What are we
Yeah,
doing here?
They're 2-8. There's no getting this together.
Yeah.
They are dead in the
over.
water.
If you're gonna suck, at least look good. You know.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence has already been ruled out for Week 11. So Mac Jones is going to start again against the let's see here, Lions.
The Detroit Lions.
Good luck, man.
Oh God, I'm looking through their schedule, and like the Gridiron Uniform Database has like they've already announced when they're gonna wear their throwbacks again. Guess who they're wearing them against?
Please tell me it's
Who?
the Jets.
It's the Jets.
Yes!
They're gonna win.
Yes!
God.
Let's go! Yeah!
But yeah, talking about football. They had how many rushing yards did they have in this game? 56 compared to the
169 for the Vikings.
yeah.
Which included -7 by one of their wide receivers.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I do
this
have a question.
was bad. Yes.
Who the fuck is John Parker Romo?
I think he
That
was in
is-
the UFL last year.
A good question.
They signed him because they put Will Reichard on IR.
Wait, what position does he play?
He's their kicker.
A kicker
Oh.
wearing number 96.
That rules.
Dude's rock.
Dudes do in fact rock. Yeah, on the Viking side, starting to get a little
Yikes.
concerned about Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I wanted to
This
bring
is-
this up. The team's kind of started to sputter.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
he's
is back-to-back games with multiple picks.
I mean, he still played okay against the Colts last week, minus those picks.
Yeah,
This one was just not pretty.
No.
yeah, and this is the thing I'm concerned about is like because when things would get bad in New York, they would spiral. And like I think Sam Darnold has talent, obviously, like he's shown it. It's just I guess it's coming down to like can the Vikings get him back to just playing smart and like solid football, you know?
Yeah.
Like protecting the ball because I mentioned it last week, but this guy fumbles all the goddamn time as well. So I'm a little concerned about Sam Darnold. You know, Justin Jefferson wasn't really much of a factor in this game. I mean, they got TJ Hawkinson back a few weeks ago, so they're integrating him back into the offense. Aaron Jones is still running well. There's a great supporting cast around him. It's just a matter of can KOC keep him sharp. I feel like
keep him mentally sound.
yeah.
Yeah,
Have they already had their bye week?
Yes.
Oh, they did. It was
Yeah,
week
they
6.
have.
Week 6.
Yeah.
Thankfully, their next 2 weeks look pretty easy. So if they continue to struggle against the fucking Titans and the Bears, you might want to start sounding the alarm bells.
Oh yeah, they have the Bears twice still this season. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dewey, what were you gonna say?
I forgot.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're still sitting well in the standings. They're 7-2. You know, 3 wins down the stretch, and they're probably in the playoffs. But it's getting a little dicey. So.
Yeah. Especially with how the rest of that division is going.
Oh yeah.
Like presumably the Lions are going to win, and the Packers are going to be competing for that wild card slot.
yeah.
So you're going to have to go up against both of your divisional rivals to have a chance to playoffs now.
Yeah. And I mean, it helps that the Bears are dropping out of the picture, and So that gives you a little bit of hope, but
And the Bucks
you
are
know.
on shaky ground now too.
Yeah, but you have a surging 49ers team. The Rams are still a factor. So it'll be interesting down the road.
It'll be something.
Any closing thoughts?
No.
Football.
All right. Speaking of the Bucks, let's go to Tampa. Where one team recovers from an injury-riddled start, another team begins their slide. After 9 weeks, the 49ers finally saw the return of Christian McCaffrey, and the 49ers are now the polar opposite of the Bucks. Missing Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield had to make do with his ragtag team of receivers with the likes of Ryan Miller, Raheem Jarrett, and Sterling Shepard, remember him, to fill out their offensive attack. One player returning from injuries on the 49ers was Jake Moody, whose 3 missed field goals gave the Bucks life in the fourth quarter. As a 49ers implosion seemed imminent, a Deebo Samuel swing at his kicker and long snapper on the sideline set the tone for the final drive. A Baker Mayfield stiff arm on Nick Bosa led to a 4th down completion, immediately followed by him shaking off a face mask and a horse collar for another completion. And unfortunately, they would be stopped within the 49ers 10-yard line, which led to a game-tying field goal. Then with 41 seconds to go, Brock Purdy led the 49ers 39 yards to set up a 44-yard field goal attempt, and this time Jake Moody put his early demons to rest and kicked the 49ers to a 23-20 win.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the Debo thing. Honorable mention for WTF moment of the week there. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, especially because he swung at Jake Moody and then grabbed the long snapper by the throat. It was like,
yeah,
what are we doing here? Which I get, being frustrated with your kicker.
But you don't do that.
No, absolutely not. So, but big shout out to Jake Moody. I mean, he's 3 of 6 on field goals and
hit the one that matter though.
Yeah, and going into that last one, I mean, drills a 44-yarder right down the middle, no question about it, and saves what should have been an implosion by the Bucks or by the 49ers defense. Because the last Bucks drive, Baker Mayfield was just fucking determined. It was unreal.
That first play was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen a football player do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on par with Fitzpatrick throwing the missile while getting face masked.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because they only had 19 yards of offense on that drive, but they drove all the way down the field because of these penalties. Mm-hmm. Because, there's that 4th down, stiff-arming Nick Bosa as he's pushing him out of bounds, and he flicks it for a 1st down. Very next play, like I mentioned, he gets face masked, then he gets horse collared, shakes both of those off, picks up 5 more yards. And then after that, you have... God, I'm trying to find exactly where it is, but you have he completes a 19-yard pass down the field, and there's a roughing the passer call where he gets smacked he gets body slammed, and after that, it's the 49ers pass rusher gets called for hands to the face, and then they were just imploding on this drive and just kept gifting them 5 and 10 and 15-yard chunks. And then credit where credit's due, they get down into within the 49ers 10-yard line, and they run it twice in a row, and then incomplete pass on 3rd down, and they have to settle for a field goal. So they tightened up when they needed to, but it was looking hairy for the 49ers there, and
shouldn't have gotten that far.
No. And unfortunately, Brock Purdy's been very good this year and got them right down into field goal range, seemingly with no problem. And Jake Moody overcame his early struggles. This is probably the best 116-yard passing game that you'll ever see, because Baker Mayfield was unreal in this game. His stats don't show it, but the Bucks are so depleted in terms of receivers right now, and he is just fucking slinging it still. He is playing at such a high level, and it's a lot like Matt Stafford last year, where it's not showing up on the stat sheet, but he is fucking out of his mind right now.
Yeah. Basically being forced on the run every play to throw into guys picked up off the street. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Bucky Irving I'm pretty sure he's a rookie, but he has been like another one
think
of
he
those
is.
finds this year where it's
Yes,
like
he is.
you stumbled into something special with this guy.
Yeah, it was their 4th round pick this year.
Yeah, he's probably going to be their starter for the next few years.
Yeah. Speaking
Very
of
well
guys
possible.
stepping up in their first year, Ricky Pearsall getting his first
Dude.
career touchdown after being fucking shot 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And now he's back to full strength, helping to clutch up that last drive for Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yet when the Niners, like, I think, were they finally fully healthy on offense in this game?
Mostly, they don't have not Debo. They don't have Ayuk
Oh,
for the rest
Ayuk.
of the year.
Yeah,
That's-
but I
Ayuk's
mean-
gone.
Yeah, Debo's been back. McCaffrey finally came back this week.
Jawan Jennings came back too.
I think Jordan Mason missed last week too, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he did.
So
Yeah, now they're getting Pearsall involved. Like, next year when Ayuk is back, like, those top 4 receivers are insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Jake Moody is healthy, because he was coming back from I think it was a thigh injury or something.
Yeah, he
Coming
was.
into this game, like if he's healthy and isn't having these issues, like this game's not even close. So I mean, we do this song and dance with the 49ers. It seems like every year where they get off to a slow start and then by like week 10 they just like get everybody healthy and then they just start fucking rolling.
Yeah.
So
It's determination, really. And then
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Shanahan's gonna Kyle Shanahan. So
yeah.
don't get too comfortable.
Nope. Watch out, Cardinals. Anyway, on to Los Angeles.
The Tennessee Titans attempted another game of football this week, this time against the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh's mind-numbing, soul-crushing brand of football took its toll on Will Levis, who was sacked 7 times in a 27-17 loss. As the Titans continue to circle the drain, there's a lot of questions surrounding both teams. Is Brian Callahan really the answer in Tennessee? Can Tony Pollard ever establish a ground game behind a single play O-line? Will Harbaugh let Justin Herbert throw the fucking ball? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oofside.
The guitar riff in the song kind of sounds like a Dragon Ball song too. The weird part about this game was like Will Levis actually looked kind of good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, 2
he
touchdowns
wasn't
through
bad.
the air.
Alvin Ridley had a solid game too, 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
which I think was his first touchdown since week 2.
Oh God,
Think?
was it? I'm gonna look this up real quick. Yeah, I mean this Titans team is not going anywhere.
No.
And I
They're-
thought they'd make the playoffs. Oopsies.
Also, yes, his last touchdown was against the Jets. So
Oh, the Jets.
more on that later. God. Yeah, I mean this was like the template for the ideal Jim Harbaugh game where it's like Herbert has an extremely high completion percentage but only 160 yards and Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins both running for fucking 50 each. Big shout out to Justin Herbert for having like the juke of the season.
Oh
Who-
yeah.
That
Who
was
knew he
filthy.
could run like that?
Shout out
Um,
Quentin Johnston too for like finally becoming who the Chargers thought he was going to be when they drafted him last year.
Yeah, he's finally starting to break out with the Chargers. It's good to have that deep threat since they're mostly relying on Edwards and Dobbins right now.
And Lad
Um,
McConkey over the middle.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, especially with Mike Williams' departure this
Mhm.
off season.
Him and Allen being traded, yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, I just looking through the box score. The the Titans had a player return 2 kickoffs named Julius Chestnut. So I just thought that was important to put out there. So
Good.
good for him. Can
Did
you
they
tell we
really,
don't have a lot to say about this game?
Did they really have to play this game?
Yeah.
like, Like,
Shout out to DiCaprio Boodle for a solo tackle in this game.
That's a good one. Yeah, like this is the thing with the Chargers that I keep forgetting, where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's on this team. Like, oh yeah, Joey Bosa's still on this team.
Yeah, they're 6-3.
It does not feel like it. It's so weird.
Well, you know what this makes me think? Imagine if they had hired Jim Harbaugh before their 2022 season.
Oh God.
With the roster they had then.
Oh god.
Oh, we also
It's
got
like
a
two
too
ships
much man
passing each
penalty
other.
in this game.
We got too much man.
Yeah, we had a too much man in the first quarter.
Hell yeah. Yeah, like, did we really need to play this one?
No.
Did anybody care?
I'm convinced 75% of NFL games don't happen. The only reason I know this game happened is because I saw it on TV.
Yeah,
And even then, I'm not really sure if it happened or if they just played an AI game on Madden.
I
instead.
don't necessarily believe in the Chargers. I don't know if
No.
they exist. I don't think I've seen them a single time this year. Like, can you tell me anything about the Chargers?
They have Justin Herbert.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you
think.
sure? Exactly.
The Chargers are a mass hallucination. That's why they've never won, because they don't exist.
Yeah.
True.
They've been to one Super Bowl, and it was where they gave up the best quarterback performance of all time. Like, they're literally just the Washington Generals. They're just there to take up space on the other side of the field.
Field filler NFL team.
Oh my god.
Someone get Brockbeard on the phone. God. I mean, the Titans fill out that niche too. Like,
that is true.
Like, everybody always talks about the greatest show on turf, and it's like, yeah, and they beat the Titans. I'm like, did they? Were you there?
Should have been the Oilers.
Yeah, just move them
Yeah.
back to Houston, and I don't know what to do with the Texans. Move them
Abolish
to
the
London.
Texans.
Move them to San Antonio. I don't know.
We should move them to London.
Don't even
and
have to
keep
change the name.
Texans.
London Texans.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. We can. Oh, wait. No, that doesn't make sense. Never mind. Ignore me. Yeah. Anyway.
Put a
Who cares?
third team in LA.
Oh god.
Yeah. Move
Move
the
them to
Raiders
San
back.
Diego.
Yeah.
Leave the Chargers in LA.
The San Diego Texans.
But we also got to bring back the Los Angeles Raiders as well.
Yeah.
Actually, no, let's move the Rams back to Cleveland.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then move the Browns to St. Louis.
Perfect.
Perfect.
No, move the Browns to Baltimore a second time and move the Ravens to St. Louis.
I think we've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Was there ever
You know-
a plot?
You know who else has lost the plot?
Who?
The New York Jets.
Yeah. And featuring a team that also used to be in St. Louis.
The Arizona Cardinals.
If there's one thing I enjoy, it's the futility of the Jets. Them missing the playoffs? That's a sure bet. A 31-6 loss at the hands of the Cards. They should have folded theirs, but instead fans are scarred. No matter what they try, nothing seems to work. Woody Johnson must surely be going berserk. Kyler's crew is 6-4, a pleasant surprise. Somebody tell Aaron Rodgers, in the bag goes the fries.
Yeah, so Kyler Murray had 2 incompletions in this game. And the Jets scored twice. So it's just funny to think about that. So this team sucks.
They combined for 79 rushing yards.
As it
between
turns
Brees Hall and
out,
Braylon Allen.
As it turns out, when you build the best roster of 2018, it's not very good in 2024. So.
No.
Makes me so happy to see this happening. I was
Like,
never a Jets hater, but this season has made me a Jets hater.
Oh, same.
Welcome aboard, baby!
I was like, I don't want to say optimistic, but part of me was just like, yeah, I would like to see the Jets be good, just because it's something like it's a new experience in life, right?
Yeah,
like
it would've been
variety
good
is
for
the spice
football.
of life. And yeah, that's just not happening.
No.
Well,
So
yeah, because this entire roster is literally just a combination of the Packers' sloppy seconds and hey, this guy was cool 5 years ago.
yeah, I'm trying to figure
Why are we
out
3-7?
what are Rogers like yards per attempt. It's really bad this year.
It was 4.3 in this game. 22 completions for a $151 in this game. On the season, it is I don't know.
I want to just like read a couple.
6.4.
Read a couple stat lines from Aaron Rodgers back-to-back MVP seasons. 2020 had 48 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and then 37 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. This year he's at 15 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. So he's thrown more picks this year than he did in 2018 and 2019 combined. So
Not only that, not an Aaron Rodgers stat, but the Jets defense has allowed the highest EPA per play of any team in the league since firing Robert Saleh.
and they already weren't very good to begin with. Like
No.
I just, again, the question that I've asked 1,000 times, like, where do they go from here? Like, I don't
The
understand.
basement.
Like, especially because Roger says he wants to come back for next year. It's like, well,
What, do this again?
yeah.
Sure, I'm okay with it. If he wants to have a repeat performance next year, they go 4-13 again. Be my fucking guest.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Oh, God.
Mike McCarthy's going to go to the Jets.
Oh my god.
The worst part is that fits right in with exactly what they would fucking do. Because the Jets always pay the cheapest coach, basically. Like, that's the only reason why Adam Gase
I almost want
ended
to
up
see
there.
this now.
God.
Dear God, man.
Although knowing the Cowboys, they're not going to fire Mike McCarthy. They're going to trade him there.
You know what though?
For
This
some
team
curtains.
this team deserves New Jersey.
Yes. Yes.
Oh God. On the other side, like I mentioned, really good game from Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I mean, they just destroyed the Jets on the ground at 147 rushing yards. And also, it's time for the Greg Dortch update.
Cause he is Greg George, short king, proud of Glendale's football team, scoring all the touchdowns for you, punt return man, kickoffs too, he's Greg Dortch.
On Sunday, Greg Dortch, 1 target for 1 reception, -1 yards.
Damn.
So,
Aw.
yeah.
And the Chad Ryland update, real Chad hours here. 1 for 1 on field goals and 4 for 4 on extra points.
Ryland, kick king.
And oh yeah, and Greg Zerline is hurt, so the Jets had Spencer Schrader kicking for them in this game.
Who?
Sure they did.
He's a rookie from Notre Dame, apparently.
He looks
He
like
wears the number 40. Hell yeah!
He looks like the most default kicker I've ever seen.
He looks like... Oh god, who am I trying to think of right now?
I don't know.
He looks like
Oh, me.
a younger version of Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh God, he does.
Yeah, he does.
It's kind of like budget Scott McLaughlin. Yeah, dude, it just like
What's going on?
I can and can't believe that this is happening to the Jets. Because, like, on one hand, it's like this team is cursed, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, why did anybody expect anything different? It's the Jets.
I mean, I thought they'd be like, you know, maybe 6-4 or 5-5, but not 3-7.
Yeah, I thought they'd be like a 7-win team.
Yeah.
My summary of the Jets is that meme with the guy crying, and it's somebody's downfall happening, and it's just me watching because I prayed for it.
I gotta put that in the in the thumbnail, but put like a
just-
Steelers and a Jets hat on him.
You got to put my face on the guy on the right.
Yeah, put Aaron Rodgers on the left.
Because I can tell you, I've absolutely prayed for this every day since Aaron Rodgers got traded there.
Oh my god!
And it is so fun to just see it turn out this way. But I think the icing to the cake of it all is the fact that they're this much worse right now than they were at this time last year with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
That is the best part of the whole thing.
Zach Wilson, franchise quarterback, maybe.
He's not bad.
And now suddenly
He's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the Cardinals are 6-4 and still leading the NFC West.
I think. God,
They might actually make the playoffs.
I appreciate the Cardinals for validating me and being like the one person who was like, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be terrible. I didn't think they were going to be 6-4. I thought they might be like 4-6.
Yeah, they're just like the Chargers in that the rest of their division is kind of like on fire, and they're sitting in the corner just sipping on a bottle of pop or something at a
Like, don't mind
pool
if I do.
above 500 record, just chilling.
Number 6 seed. If you insist.
If
And
you give
st-
them a year or two to build, I think they could take over that division.
It's
I can see it.
possible.
Yeah.
If they play
'Cause-
their free agency cards right, I could definitely see it.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison's going to be their cornerstone for who knows how long, but
Oh yeah.
he's legit.
Oh yeah. You know who's not legit? This is America's team.
L.
Welcome to Dallas, Texas. Come see our football team, the Cowboys. We have it all. You want it? We've got it. An owner who's completely detached from reality? You bet. A coaching staff composed entirely of cast-offs from other teams? Don't you forget it. What's that? You want the offense to have more rushes? Sure thing. Bring out Cooper Rush. A $1 billion stadium perfectly designed to shine the sun into beautiful rays into our players' faces during prime football hours? You bet. In fact, CeeDee Lamb better call Manfred Mann's Earth Band because he was blinded by the light, carved up by Hurts, and now the birds are taking flight. Eagles 34, Cowboys 6.
Of all the bands I would have expected to get a shout out on this show, I think Manfred Mann's Earth Band was like number 562,000 on that list.
That is an exquisite reference.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so we always joke about how the Cowboys Stadium has entire walls that are just glass, and then the sun is just like blinding when they play in the late afternoon hours. And in this game, CeeDee Lamb literally dropped a touchdown because he couldn't see because the sun was in his eyes. And I gotta find it, but Jerry Jones had a truly baffling quote. Because he has completely fucking lost his mind this season. Like there's always dumb Jerry Jones quotes every
This is
year,
advanced
but like
dumb.
he's been like throwing a tantrum over the last few weeks. And okay, I found it. So they were asking about how for other events they will literally put up curtains over the big glass walls.
Yeah, they're on tracks. They're motorized. You can press a button and they roll out.
Roll out.
Oh wait, no, is this? I'm trying to find the full quote. It's so good though, because he just kept going. So it is suggested. Okay, so I'm quoting an NBC station. It has been suggested plenty of times, and Jones has always flatly rejected it. The 82-year-old billionaire angrily rejected it after bringing up the issue unprompted in his post-game session with reporters. Quote, "By the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we flip the coin, so we do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium," Jones said. "Let's just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me?" While Jones' response could be taken as a criticism of embattled coach Mike McCarthy, Jones said it wasn't. Quote, "Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun is going to be. Every team has the same thing. I'm not saying it's on McCarthy. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? We're fine. But everybody plays in the sun out here." Like,
Dear God.
I want to point out one more thing. Is yesterday morning, the Cowboys had their morning press conference the day after,
Oh yeah.
and they had to put up a sun shield because the sun was in Mike McCarthy's eyes as he was trying to give the press conference.
Oh my god.
You can't make this up.
I
You
dude,
truly can't make it up.
this is like, I'm trying to think of like the exact stereotype, but we've all seen the kind of person in your life where like you criticize one thing they're doing and they're like, oh, I guess I should just quit then. I guess I should just fucking kill myself, right? And that's the exact energy that Jerry, because they're like, hey, Jerry, you have curtains. Why don't you close them so your players can see? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Why don't we just tear the whole fucking stadium down? And it's like, I don't know. Do it. It's your fucking $1 billion.
Well, you know what?
Nobody suggested that.
At this point, they might as well, because they can't win there anymore anyway.
That's true.
Their last home win was the Lions game when the whole ineligible receiver thing happened. It's a curse at this point. Like, that's just
it
all
honestly
not
might be.
lying.
I can't believe they spent all that money on that stadium and built it, and nobody, not one person, brought up that the sun's going to get in everybody's eyes during the games.
Oh my god.
That is
I swear,
your stadium's main purpose, is to
I
play a football game.
I swear he thinks that they only play on Sunday Night Football.
If they had the opportunity, they would.
Maybe
Yeah.
his vision is so shot that he thinks it's always nighttime there.
Maybe.
Also, I'm pretty sure
no,
most
no.
stadiums-
I got it. I got
Oh,
it.
God.
Remember how Ted Turner created TBS and the Braves games were played countrywide?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is going to buy NBC and use the Sunday Night Football slot solely to broadcast Cowboys games.
Oh my god.
Dear God.
Also, I'm double checking it. I'm like 90% sure most NFL stadiums are oriented north to south, so the sun isn't in anybody's
Yeah,
eyes.
so this specifically is not a problem.
Yeah, Lambeau Field is like that, and now I'm zooming in on AT&T
It's east
Stadium.
to west, isn't it? Or like
Um,
northwest, southeast, or something.
yeah,
almost
it's-
every baseball park does the same thing too. They have to be oriented a certain direction so the sun doesn't get in anybody's eyes.
Yeah, AT&T Stadium is almost perfectly east-south or east-west. So,
That's incredible.
what are we doing here? We paid $1 billion for this.
America's team, baby.
I also
America's-
like too that like AT&T Stadium is right next to the new Rangers ballpark, and the Rangers literally did it right next to them.
Yeah. Well, they
Uh,
also play in like a giant Costco, so I don't know how
Yeah.
much you want to take from them.
Well, that
Their,
is
their
true.
italicized stadium.
The Cowboys also in this game only had one more point than turnovers. They had 6 points and 5 turnovers,
We done
4 of
boys.
which were fumbles.
So like, I genuinely like nothing. Why is Cooper Rush starting? Like, isn't the
Because
whole
the
reason
other
they
option's
tr-
Trey Lance.
yeah, but like
Trey
the whole
Lance
reason
didn't play
they tr-
well either.
yeah,
so-
the whole reason they traded for Trey Lance was like maybe we have a guy in him, and then they just don't start him, and then they take Cooper Rush out of the game to put Trey Lance in, and that doesn't work, and so they take Trey Lance out and put Cooper Rush back in. And Cooper Rush had 13 completions for 45 yards.
They together averaged 2.3 yards a completion.
Oh my god.
Both of them had a longest pass of 10 yards.
like what are we doing? And like
We got Kenny Pickett action in this game too.
His longest pass was 5 yards.
Beautiful.
But he did have a game-sealing tush push. So I'm
yeah.
glad that's going for him, I guess.
yeah,
Wonder how he feels looking at the Steelers right now.
he got
I mean,
lucky because he's in our situation arguably is good.
Yeah, the
Is
Eagles
he?
are.
Because
Well,
now
on
he has to
Eagles-
answer to Nick Sirianni instead of Mike
Oh.
Tomlin.
That is true. Yeah.
Well, on paper he's 7-2 as opposed to being 7-2.
Yeah. But think about how different the vibes are.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but the Steelers
Yeah.
don't have Big Dom. So.
Yeah. Because we don't need a big Dom because our coach is mentally healthy.
Well, as we've established, Big Dom is the head coach. So
That's true. Whole
they have
team's a
figurehead.
mafia front.
Yeah. God, I'm looking at the The Cowboys drive summary. Punt, fumble, field goal, punt, fumble, field goal, punt, punt, fumble, interception, punt.
Ugh.
Wow.
This is a professional
might be-
football team.
That might be the worst drive summary of any team this season.
It's up there. So, because I don't think we've gotten a shutout yet this year, have we?
Not yet.
I don't think
I
we
would like
have.
to nominate, once again, the Jets drive.
Oh, the Denver
As
game.
well this week. No, I was going to say this week for the Jets.
Which
Which was field goal, punt, fumble, punt, turnover on downs. 6 drives.
Well, we got to bring up, for comparison now, the Denver game for the Jets. Fumble, punt, field goal, punt, field goal, field goal, punt, turnover on downs, missed field goal.
I think it was the Jet. Oh god, no, it wasn't. There was a game this week, and I can't remember which one that had a truly ridiculous like time of possession split. And I'm trying to figure out which one it was. I think it was Vikings Jags, if I recall correctly. Whereas like one team had the ball for Vikings had the ball for 42 minutes and 19 seconds compared to the Jaguars 17:41.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Jesus. Yeah, the Jags had 10 first downs in that whole game.
Yeah.
Fuck. And the
back to the
Cowboys only
Cowboys.
had 11.
Yeah, this was probably the worst team performance of the season. Like, it's so bad.
Of the last couple years.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Like, even when they lost to the Packers in the playoffs last year, they still, put up 32 points, even though half of them were garbage time.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Like,
they lost
this
4
might be
fumbles.
the worst performance of the McCarthy era.
I'm struggling to think maybe during 2020 when Dak was hurt, but like, I mean, it just goes to show like, for all of the criticism towards him, like how much he props this fucking shitty ass team up.
It'll be interesting to see if or when he walks, if he goes elsewhere, how he does, and see if he's actually this bad or if the Cowboys were holding him back this whole time.
I wonder if he's regretting signing that extension already.
I would.
I don't know. He makes a lot of fucking money.
That is true.
At some point, you're like, winning would be nice, but also being a Dallas Cowboy is also extremely nice.
The trick is to get your money fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
I was looking back at the other Mike McCarthy era games, and I forgot in 2020 that the Cowboys started Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, and Garrett Gilbert in consecutive games.
Ben DiNucci, man. What a time. What's he up to?
A good question.
We need to get Ben DiNucci and Tommy DeVito on the same team.
Ben
Just
DiNucci
be
kind of looks
Italian
like the
Boy
lead
Summer.
singer from Deftones.
He does look like Gino.
Oh my god.
He was on the Bills for about 2 weeks this season, and then got released.
God, he looks like Kyle Orton.
Ben DiNucci is new
Yeah, a
middle.
little bit.
Anyway, that was Cowboys Eagles. Fuck my life. So, on to
And
the
then
better
finally,
Texas team.
a Sunday night game that might have had an even more ridiculous drive summary.
Jake fucking Bates. The Lions defeat the Texans 26-23 on the back of 2 50-plus yard field goals from JF. Despite Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions, Dan Campbell's brutal defensive squad and unstoppable running game brought them a win in primetime against all odds. On the flip side, a dream team for the Texans continues to sputter, with the losses of Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs looming large in the past several weeks. They'll probably still win the AFC South, given how much glue the rest of the division is eating, but it's going to be a tall order moving forward for Go Ryans.
4
Yeah.
of the first 6 drives of the second half resulted in interceptions. As well as the last drive of the first half.
Yeah, the first one on CJ Stroud is hilarious because they were playing an interview with Dan Campbell as he was saying, we need to get a turnover, as CJ Stroud threw an interception.
And then Jared Goff said, what if we give it right back?
Yeah.
No, you
Texans
can have it.
And then the Texans 3-and-outed after getting a single yard. They said, all right, what if we give it right back?
It was
And then
literally
the-
like, they're like, no, I insist. You take the ball.
Is this what Canadian football's like?
Yeah, so there were 7 combined interceptions in this game.
God.
Interception, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown, field goal, interception, field goal, punt, 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 touchdown, interception, 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 punt, touchdown, interception, interception, punt, 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 touchdown, punt, field goal, missed field goal, field goal.
So, like, the interesting
Gorgeous.
thing... So, like, yes, Goff had 5 picks, which also, thanks to Joe Twansky, friend of the show, resident Lions fan, that Jared Goff is 7-0 in games where he throws 4 interceptions or more, which is just an awesome stat.
What the fuck?
His Jameis per 60 is off the charts right now.
Jameis for 60?
um,
Jared Goff also, by the way, had more picks in this game than he did in the entire season up to this point. He last threw an interception in week 3, which is his 4th of the year, and then he threw 5.
So he also like the 5 is a little misleading because you had the first one was deflected,
And then the Hail Mary at the half.
You have
Yeah,
the
an
Hail
arm
Mary, and then you have one that probably was a fumble. But still, I mean, that's 5 turnovers to one player.
At the end of the day, on paper, it's 5 picks. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. And you could tell he was rattled because once they got down into those last couple drives, like, he was throwing a lot of balls in the dirt and everything like that. And you could tell he was kind of in his head about it. And credit where it's credit due. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs was fucking unstoppable at the end of this game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily show up on the stat line, but he had so many like great runs, and they put it together on their last couple drives. He hits Amon-Ra St. Brown for a touchdown, and then, like you mentioned, Jake Bates has 2 of the most ridiculous field goals of the year, both of them plus 50 yards, both of them squeaking by on the inside of the upright by like an inch.
A cunt hair.
Didn't one of them hit the inside of the upright?
It might.
I think
It
the
skimmed
second
it
one
at the
did.
best.
If it did, it just barely hit it.
Yeah. And you have Kaimi Fairbairn misses a 58-yarder, which would have put the Texans up 3 with 1:56 to play. And instead, the Lions get the ball back and put together a game-winning drive in the end. I mean, this game, it looked really bad, 23-7 at half. And the Lions defense came out at halftime and just shut them down because the Texans 0 points in the second half. Joe Mixon's, according to Mike Renner on Twitter, Joe Mixon's 46 yards and 25 carries is the lowest yardage total for a player with 25 plus carries since 2013.
Who's the last guy to do it?
I was gonna say, who was that guy in 2013? Because averaging 1.8 yards a run is bad.
Do you know who it was?
No, I was asking.
No,
Oh,
I'm
I
asking
don't know.
if you. Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Damn right I would.
Why
do you think I asked?
Yeah, completely shut their offense down in the second half and forced multiple interceptions out of CJ Stroud. The worst one being when the second interception where Tank Dell was uncovered in the end zone, and he just kind of tossed up a floater to him and allowed Davis to intercept it. Like, the screen grab of Tank Dell standing with no defender within 15 to 20 yards of him, and somehow that ended up being an interception it's just funny to think about.
Shout out
Both
to
of Carlton Davis's picks were off of Tank Dell in this game.
Oh God.
Shout out to John Mechie for getting his first NFL touchdown in this game as well. Finally.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
What a weird game.
He was born in Taiwan?
The more you know.
Good for him.
Like you mentioned, though, the Texans are, I don't want to say collapsing, but they're in a rough spot right now.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
They're not a bad team. It's just they're the ones with the injury bug this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what's going to do them in.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is 2 in a row now for them. They've lost 3 of their last 4.
Missing your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers, or one for the whole season and the other one for a good chunk of the season. You're not going to succeed in a position like that.
And your top running back getting 46 yards on 25 carries certainly doesn't help reduce the impact of that as well. So
yes,
not great. Still in control of the division for now because everyone behind them sucks doo-doo ass, but come playoff time, though, I don't know how much further they'll get than that.
So Lions roll on to 8-1. Still crazy to think about the Lions.
5-0 on the road too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, the Texans now sit at 6-4, and then finally Monday Night Football in LA.
Monday Night Football saw a battle of mid. Someone had to prevail, and the Dolphins did. Tua and company got win number 3, and a playoff push would be something to see. The Rams' momentum was stopped in its tracks with a performance as surprising as Derrick Henry's ass crack as the Miami Dolphins took control and took the win over the Rams 23-15.
This game made me mad.
Yeah, it did.
So, like, I just remember that John Boyce video about the Chiefs in 2015 kicking 7 field goals and losing because they just kept, like, getting stopped, and instead of ever gambling a single time, they were just like, no, we'll just keep kicking field, we'll just keep taking the points. And it's like, okay, well, it doesn't really do any good when the other team is also scoring points. You know? Because you look at the fourth quarter. Actually, no. The second half drive summary is insane. Rams miss field goal. Dolphins touchdown. Rams field goal. Dolphins field goal. Rams field goal. Dolphins field goal. Rams field goal. End of game. Like, you're not...
Jesus.
McVay, you have to go for it at some point. You can't just keep alternating field goals.
Also, the last 2 drives for the Rams in the first half were also field goals.
Yeah, like, they kept getting down into the red zone and then just kicking it on, like, 4th and short. And it was like, what are we doing here? And, like, credit where credit's due
yarder, 22-yarder, and, like, they were all short. Why?
Yeah, and, like, credit where credit's due to the Dolphins' defense, because they, God, I'm drawing a blank on how many sacks they had, but, like, had 4 sacks on the night. Had Matt Stafford running for his life all night, but, like, this is one of the weird things about Sean McVay is, like, as revered as he is for an offensive innovator, he's very conservative when it comes to 4th downs. It's very weird. And, like, you have a guy like Matt Stafford who is, like, you know, a future Hall of Famer. Like, unleash him. So.
Yeah, that's just confusing choices.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just feels like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like the Bengals on Thursday, going for 2, not getting it, they look like idiots for it. But
I think the refs do for that one, but I get your point.
But yeah. on the flip side, the Rams doing the opposite and taking the points every time. Sometimes you just can't win.
Yeah, because, like, taking the points is good and all, but it doesn't do you any good when you're letting up a field goal every single time as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're not making any ground up at that point. You're just not losing ground.
You have to make a push at that point.
Yeah. And I mean, on the Dolphins side, they didn't really have anything going on the ground, and so this was a big night for Tua. Definitely his best game of the season. Odell Beckham spotting. Forgot he's even in football still. But big game from Jalen Waddle. Got some Raheem Mostert back into the picture. And I mean, on the Rams side, like, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp had big games again, but they just could not finish a drive, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And this is a big one because it keeps the Dolphins alive. I don't think they're going to do anything at 3-6. I mean, they got to go catch the Broncos or the Chargers or even the Ravens. And the Rams, like, you win this game and all of a sudden you're right back in the playoff hunt because you have a tiebreaker over the 49ers. You're sitting at the 8 seed. And now instead they've lost a spot to the Seahawks. So, not good.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
Yeah, do we have anything else to say about this? I don't know.
Nah, this game was just ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have
I
saved
feel
the
bad for
Dolphins
Joe Buck.
season for now, though. Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it.
Anyway, that was week 10. Now let's throw it over to the dues.
One of the weeks of all time. So, mentioned the concussion to Chris Olave in last week's show. He has now since been put on IR for that, so out a minimum of 4 games as a result of that. Also mentioned last week that Dak had been put on IR and was missing about 4 weeks. Well, turns out he's now getting season-ending surgery on a partially torn hamstring, so goodbye to the Cowboys season at this point.
Yeah, but the right move for the future.
Oh, for sure. Sam Laporta suffered a sprained AC joint in the Texans game, listed as day-to-day. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. We'll see. Alex Highsmith sprained an ankle, so he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks, and at least will not play against the Ravens. Trevor Lawrence has already been ruled out against the Lions with a shoulder injury, so another week of McCorkle and cheese packs down in Duval. Keon Coleman is out against the Chiefs with a wrist injury. That one could end up being a very big deal for the Bills. The Dolphins lost starting guard Austin Jackson for the year due to season-ending knee surgery. The Seahawks put Kayvon Wallace on IR with an ankle injury. The Bucks have lost Tristan Wirfs for a couple weeks with a knee injury because they haven't had enough people get hurt already as it is. J.J. McCarthy underwent a second knee surgery to address some swelling, but it does not change his rehab timeline. He is still out for the rest of the year. The Chiefs have designated Isaiah Pacheco to return from IR. They somehow did not lose a game without him. And the Panthers have finally brought Adam Thielen back from IR after missing the last 7 games. The Patriots claimed Yannick Ngakoue off of waivers from the Ravens. Sure. The Seahawks cut their leading tackler and linebacker Tyrell Dodson, and the Dolphins promptly claimed him off waivers. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, it's
That one's weird. The 49ers signed cornerback Diamador Lenore to a 5-year, $92 million contract extension, well earned for him, and mentioned it earlier. Chuba Hubbard got a 4-year, $33 million extension from the Cats. And then the third straight week we've had a coordinator or above get canned. This week, as we mentioned earlier, Bears offensive coordinator Shane Waldron is gone. So I think their passing game coordinator has been elevated to interim OC for the rest of the year. And the Colts, who a couple weeks ago said that Anthony Richardson was going to be on the bench for the rest of the year, are now going to start him for the rest of the year. Make your fucking mind up.
You know what I just realized, by the way?
What's
the
that?
entire time we're doing the injury segments, and I forgot I have this on my soundboard.
Beautiful.
I'll have to do that next week. So,
And then our other WTF or what the football moment of the week. Number 3 Georgia went to Ole Miss over the weekend and promptly lost 28-10 in a rather shocking upset in the SEC with potentially major college football playoff implications. But that was not arguably the biggest story of that game. The biggest story of that game arguably was their defensive back Jake Pope reportedly celebrating on the field with Ole Miss fans after losing to them, where he went on Twitter after the game, or X, and said that apparently he had family members show up to the game that were Ole Miss fans, and I guess wanted to hang out with them or something. And so his head coach, Kirby Smart, saw this and called him an idiot.
oh my god.
His own head coach called him an idiot to the press. And I guess he went back in front of the press either yesterday or today and was like, yeah, no, I shouldn't have called him an idiot. But it's like, How do you have a more visceral reaction to a guy supposedly celebrating to his family than you do with like a fourth of your roster being arrested for going 96 billion miles per hour over the speed limit?
Oh my god. This fucking team.
What are we doing here? It just means more.
It's always meant more.
And on this day in football history, November 13th of 1875, the very first college football game was played where both teams wore uniforms. Harvard defeated Yale 4-0.
I like the implication that it was shirts versus skins before that.
I read up on it, and
it had to be naked.
I guess
They
they
just
just showed up
painted
and wore
numbers on the
whatever they
front of
wanted
their
or something.
Bodies.
Yeah. He's painted numbers on their bodies.
Wait, what was the first college football game?
1869.
So
Yeah,
they
that
went
was-
6 years without wearing uniforms.
Yes.
They're like, damn, I'm having trouble remembering which guys are on my team. We should do something about this.
Yeah, pretty
What
much.
if guys, what if we all wore matching shirts?
What a concept that is.
Sometimes I forget that a lot of football concepts had to be invented. Like the forward pass had to be invented.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm going to go back in time to 1875, run an RPO, and they get tried for witchcraft.
It's like how like when trains were first being invented and people thought they couldn't go faster than like 60 miles an hour or women's wombs would fall out.
Yeah.
Like, you can't throw the football forward.
Have you guys ever seen that clip of Peyton Manning from like I think the late 90s or early 2000s when he reads out that really long play call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine like showing that clip to like John Heisman or Jim Thorpe or something.
He's speaking in tongues. He's cursing us. Get him.
He's speaking funny.
I'm pretty sure I have that video saved on my computer with a caption. It's like white girls with their Starbucks order.
Yeah, that's the one.
God. Anyway, let's head on over to Dungeon Rings, where big shout out that we sporked the Cowboys last week. So I was gonna suggest them this week, and they're already done.
We were right.
And we're gonna take the Panthers off again
Yeah.
because they won again.
They
And
might
Bryce
break even
Thomas.
at this rate. Yeah. All right.
I think
I-
at this point though we're approaching the territory of putting the Giants on there a second time.
I'd be
I
okay with it.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Let's do it. They're going on there again.
I was also going to nominate the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
think
not
it's
already
fine.
on there.
They are done. No, their jet is on there, but the team themselves is not.
How did we make it this far without putting the Jaguars on?
Because
I
I've nominated
forgot.
them like the last 3 weeks. You said, no, let's give them another week. Let's give them another week, and they've lost
God
every
damn.
time.
I cannot believe we went this long without putting them on there.
They're
I would
officially done.
I would also, with their upcoming schedule, like to nominate the Bears.
I could see it, but
they're-
I want to give them another week.
But their next 6 games are Packers, Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions.
I think
I-
if they lose this coming week, they're going to lose out.
They might do that anyway, because it's the Seahawks and Packers after that. Like, the worst record they face the rest of the year is 4-5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm willing to give them one more week just because it's like, all right, let's see if firing Waldron, if that does anything, if there's even a spark next week, then
Fair enough.
okay, they're good. But yeah, if they lose next week and they're still butt ass shit, then I'm putting them on there.
Yeah.
I would also like to nominate the Jets again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
they're going back
second
on
New
there.
York team has struck the Dungeon Rings Week 10 list.
You know, I'm
Hell
gonna say
yeah.
the Jets a third time.
You know, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I like that.
They've been Dungeon Rings as many times as they have wins. That's a fantastic stat we did for ourselves.
Does that mean every time they win, we have to put them on?
Shit.
Maybe. Oh, speaking of insane stats too, that I forgot to bring up a few minutes ago, the Dolphins winning against the Rams prevented every major sports team in the state of Florida from losing on the same weekend in football.
Oh my god.
As the Buccaneers, Jaguars, Florida Atlantic, Florida, the University of Miami, Florida State, South Florida, UCF, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, and Stetson all lost, but the Dolphins won.
Wow.
God damn it, Dolphins.
You had to
Blew
fuck it up.
You blew it.
I'm also willing to nominate the moon because Cherry Jones doesn't know where it is, so I don't think it's real.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nominate curtains.
Oh yeah, curtains are onion rings. Yeah.
Yeah, this is their curtain call.
Shut the fuck up. All right. Well, that was pretty good week of onion rings.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
I'm gonna throw it over to pick they them. Starting with last week's wrap up. Where's the tab? There it is. Last week, Steven went 11-4.
Yeah.
I went 9-6. I got my hopes up because I won my first 2 games, including my Panthers pick, and I was like, "All right, it's coming up Millhouse," and then I lost 3 in a row. Thanks Broncos. Thanks Bucks. Thanks Bears. Dewey and I both went 9-6. However, our lock off went my way. Although, can you imagine if we had the lock off and then they tied?
That would be fucking incredible.
I will forever be kicking myself for not locking the tie if that happened.
But you know what?
Lock off.
I got another Pats pick right. We're vibing though.
Oh yeah, I was
it's
the only
all
one to
good.
pick the Steelers.
Oh god.
You didn't listen to me.
Yeah, well, you picked the Jets. Your opinion's invalid.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. But I also picked the Dolphins.
God damn it.
Well, I picked the Chiefs. So.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that I got 2 1v2s wrong this week. The only
and I picked
Cowboys
the
pick
Colts.
and the only Bucks
fuck.
pick.
Ugh. That
For
was
some reason, we picked the Bears.
That was one of the
Out of
weeks of all
spite.
time.
God.
Oh,
Anyway.
right. Where are we going here?
We're going to start with our team facing the Eagles on Thursday night.
Huh.
Go commies. Let's go.
I think we've been giving the Eagles too much shit.
Yeah.
I am going to go.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What was that?
Oh. Ah! I want to pick our team. I do, trust me. But home turf for Philly. I think this one's going in their favor.
Can't believe it.
It pains me to do it.
I have
It
to
must
pick
be
the
done.
commies. I have to
Yeah.
pick our team.
Hell yeah,
I feel like
comrade.
the Eagles are going to win this game, but I have to put my stock into our team.
Yeah. Like a true comrade.
Yes.
Then we'll kick off Sunday, Packers at Bears, the oldest rivalry in the NFL.
Packers by 274.
I want to lock the Packers so bad, but there's this small part of me that feels like this is going to be the one time the Bears do it, isn't it? And the one game they shouldn't.
I'm so tempted to pick the Bears.
I'm
Do
gonna
it.
pick the Packers, but I'm gonna stay short of locking them for now.
Do it.
Fuck it, give me the Bears. If I'm giving them one more week in Onion Rings, I gotta pick them.
Yeah.
All right. Jaguars at Lions. Who wants
Locking
to
the
lock
Lions.
the Lions? There
Locking
it
You
the
is.
Lions.
piece of shit. Yeah, Mac Jones against this Lions team. I can't see this going well. I can't at all.
Whoops.
This
You're
is
not
gonna
picking
be
the
ugly.
Lions.
This might be as ugly as the Titans game was,
Yeah.
and that one was ugly.
Speaking of ugly games, the Raiders at the Dolphins.
Ugh.
I'm going to take the Dolphins because they really don't look that bad.
Yeah.
Raiders are
They were
also
just-
dog shit.
They were just
Yeah.
fucked over for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm
The
picking
Raiders are
Fins.
bad.
Yeah, I'll take the Dolphins as well. The Raiders are... Ugh. Rams at Patriots. Super Bowl rematch.
Oh, yeah,
It-
that's right.
This is no greatest show on turf, and this is no Brady Moss. This is two mid teams that are really not in the playoff picture anymore, and I'm just going to pick the one I root for. That's really all that is.
I'll be taking the Rams.
Yeah, and this is kind of a must-win game for the Rams. I'm going to take them as well.
I do like, though, that if the Pats win this game, they'll have the same amount of wins. Manifesting it now.
Oh my god. Browns at Saints. James
Ugh.
Winston revenge game.
The Jarvis Landry Bowl.
Well, I'll take the Saints, I guess.
The Greg Williams Bowl. A whole lot of
Yeah.
Anybody
Anybody got any picks for this one?
Dude, I don't know.
I don't want to.
I truly don't know. Oh, give me the Browns. I don't fucking know, man. This game might be fucking putrid.
Here, I'll play some motivation music.
My brain
Give me the
cells trying to
Saints.
consume this information.
I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling is, given what he did this past week, I think he can do that again.
Yeah. I can see it. He's gonna riz him up again.
Yeah.
Ravens at Steelers.
Steelers, baby.
Oh, baby.
You know what I'm about.
Old-fashioned, gritty AFC North gridiron football. Steelers going Super Bowl.
What's that football copy pasta about, like, real men football?
Oh yeah, they give birth on the sidelines and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real football. The
Do you
pansy
have
ass.
the Steelers?
Yeah, Steelers.
Okay, I'll take the Ravens.
Coin toss of a game, for what it's worth.
Oh yeah.
I found it. That's fucking football right there. None of that pansy ass dick tugging smile for the camera bullshit. Men puke, men poop on the field, men deliver their newborn baby on the sidelines. Fucking hardcore dick in the ass, butterball, foosball, fuck it, chuck it, game time shit. Take it to the showers. Dicks get shoved in places you don't even remember. We win together, we celebrate together. Football is back, baby.
I'm glad I have that recorded now.
Saving for posterity.
God. Vikings at Titans.
Oh,
This has trap game written
Fuck
all
it,
the
Titans.
fuck over it. Oh, God.
I'm picking the Vikings, but like, yeah, if Sam Darnold has a repeat performance as last week, he might not get away with it again.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. Darnold, but I think it's time.
I'm taking the Vikings as well. This could be the ultimate trap game or the ultimate get right game.
Yeah.
And
This
there's
could
no
go
in
either way.
between. Colts at Jets.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
There are some real shitters this week. My God.
Colts aren't good, but the Jets might be the worst team in the league right now. But they're starting Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, God, yeah, that's the fucking thing.
But the
I
Jets
could-
are the Jets.
I'm gonna flip a coin.
I don't. Well, look. You know what? I'm just gonna pick the Colts for no other reason than I don't want to pick the Jets.
Oh wait, it flipped and I didn't decide one. Okay, heads Colts, tails Jets. It just no. Okay, so I googled flip a coin and it just flipped one, and I was like, wait, I wasn't ready. All right, heads Colts, tails Jets. Okay, here we go. It's flipping. Tails, give me the Jets.
Yeah, like I said, I'm picking the Colts because I don't want to pick the Jets. Simple as that. This
Steven,
game
what was
could
your
go
pick?
either way and be awful.
Tie.
Oh my God.
I respect it.
I could see
I
it.
respect
Yeah.
the hell out of that.
I do, yeah. I respect the hustle. Falcons at Broncos.
Broncos.
The Dan Reeves Bowl,
Broncos are a good team,
I think.
and the Falcons are the Falcons.
Fuck it, Broncos.
I guess I'll take the Falcons to be different.
With how that defense just played against the Chiefs, I mean, the Falcons just struggled against the Saints defense, and the Broncos defense is way better than the Saints defense is, so
That's true. I'm still taking the Falcons. Seahawks at Niners.
Niners.
You know
Be real
what?
here.
I think I'm gonna lock the Niners here.
Fucker, I was gonna do that.
L.
I'll take the Niners as well. Oh god, there's not really a lockable game here. Oh no.
Good luck.
Have fun.
Chiefs at Bills.
The Chiefs bullshit has to end here, right?
Yeah, the Bills have beat them in
Right.
the regular season, I'm pretty sure 3 years in a row.
Please, for the love of everything holy, make it 4. I'm picking the fucking Bills.
I'm taking the Bills as well.
Chiefs domination will continue until morale improves.
God damn it. Dude, if they fucking get on this winning streak, I'm like this goddamn Hallmark movie conspiracy theory. I'm gonna lose
All of
my
this
shit.
to go all the way to lose to fucking who?
They're gonna lose
Detroit.
to the Texans this time.
No, they're gonna lose to the Lions in the Super Bowl, and it'll be a funnier sequence than the 07 Patriots.
That's
God.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which, you know what? That would be great, because then it would take some of the heat off that team. It would be finally somebody else did this too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That means Jared
Sunday.
Goff's gonna. Oh, never.
No, go ahead.
No, I shouldn't say that. 'Cause then it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it then. Sunday night football: Bengals at Chargers. Absolute must-win game for the Bengals here.
I think the Bengals get right. I think they stay alive one more week.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow is gonna be pissed off, and they're gonna win.
A surprising offensive shootout will go the Chargers' way.
Oh,
Me big boy.
I was thinking the same thing.
I genuinely, the Bengals defense blows mud. I think this is the game where Herbert pops the fuck off and goes for like 350 and 3 touchdowns. Booking it now.
Only 3 touchdowns.
It's so low for him.
It's realistic. I'll give him
Yeah.
that.
And then finally, Monday night, Texans at Cowboys. Just gonna go ahead and lock the Texans. So
Sorry to hear that, man.
Can
Yeah,
we
give me
the
just
Texans.
Can we nuke the state so you don't have to watch this?
fucking real.
We could.
What are we,
Or
really
we could just
missing?
blow up AT&T Stadium.
In Minecraft.
No, you
In
know what? I
Minecraft, in
think,
Minecraft.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
parody.
in Fortnite and Minecraft.
No. What ESPN needs to do is put an animation of curtains over everybody's TV like it's an old timey movie thing, so none of us have to watch the game.
Wait, they do those animations. Do you think they're going to reference the glare this week?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, there's no way they don't.
100%.
There's gonna be a real funny graphic in this game. I can already tell.
Animation department's getting paid tonight. All right, Texans across the board. All right.
Yeah, after this week, the Cowboys are gonna have less wins than the Patriots. You heard it here first.
You know what? I can see it. The Cowboys suck. All right, and that was Oofsides. So
Yeah.
All right.
that was a podcast.
Was
you
it?
want to hear more? Allegedly. That was a
Potentially.
podcast? I think.
Oofsides and
Podcast
psyop.
question mark.
Yeah.
Oofsides?
Oh, that's a throwback.
Oh God. So yeah, if you want to hear more of us, you can listen to all the old episodes. Follow us on Track and Turf Media on everything. We have an Oofsides, Bloofskides, as I've been calling it.
Blue sky.
Incredible.
I'm gonna try to make a little graphic for our picks and everything, and I'll put that up on there. Link to some stuff. We got FRP. We talked about the season finale, and again, all of that for a fucking Logano win.
You know, that really,
I literally opened the episode. I was like, just go listen to our 2022 season end one, where it was like, damn, that was a great season, and that's it. it's just over.
you know, that finale really fit the vibe of Week 10 well.
Yes, it did.
Where
Really
both
did.
of those were happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed most of like Cowboys Eagles because I was watching that race, and I was like, "Wow, I'm disappointed." And then I'd like check over the score, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's about what I expected."
I was very happy to have some happiness in my life before watching that wet fart of a race. But
Yeah.
I saw an Xfinity tire test at Rockingham today, so I am happy again.
Oh,
We're so
God, I
back.
can't wait for that.
Unbelievably bad.
Yeah, if you want to go listen to that, it's up there. We'll have our season end driver grades and team grades episode coming out this week also. Can't wait. Davey's gonna have some spicy takes, I can imagine. So can't wait for that. Anything you guys want to? Trying to think of a different word.
Happy birthday, Vinny Testaverde, 61 years old.
And Michael Bennett, also known as Black Santa.
Vinny Testaverde's gonna win the Daytona 500. And on that note, we'll see you next time.
Good night, America.
Goodbye.
Football.
Football.
Football. Football. Blood. Blood.
Football.
Blood.
Football. Football. Blood. 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 Blood.
Blood. Blood.
Blood.